from the West End. Nigga, what you saying? I'm from the West End. I'm from the West End. Yo, I'm coming straight from the West End. Move from the Jane to the West End. Watch how you talk when you walk through my hood, cause you know that my niggas be pressing. Heavy artillery weapons, ain't really into the questions. I ain't condoning the violence, these youngins are wildin', they move kinda reckless. Got the keys, police, they patting niggas, stay cheese. I'm familiar face tapping niggas, safety, didn't even wanna slap the nigga, he made me. Ain't nobody telling me nothing, I knew from a youngin' that I be the one I hit something. Now all of these rappers is running and the birds, and you act like you came up from nothing. Shout out to my niggas on the plaza, lane to connections, outside Gaza. When I roll my backwood, better house robber. Never leave that house when I'm my iPhone charger. When I hear my money's a rocker. Abdi Muhammad Mustafa. African man, that's my barber. Jamaican man, that's my shasta. Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. These rappers, they lying in the booth. In the booth. What's then got the realest? Just look at the proof. I'm living proof. The city's so litty cause we got the juice. We got the juice. So we got the juice. I'm from the West End. I'm from the West End. Nigga, what you saying? I'm from the West End. I'm from the West End. Nigga, what you saying? Big strip, jungle to the Rex, we deep. I can tell a West End nigga by the way.
New York and the Knicks are led by Mississauga native RJ Barrett, who's coming into his own in his second full NBA season. Former Duke Blue Devil is averaging just over 16 points per game. Raptors and Knicks will tip at 7:30 on Sportsnet. Meantime, at the World Juniors, Canada puts their undefeated record on the line against Finland. Both teams vying for the top spot in Group A. They'll battle it.
Your comment that may be used on air now.
Before using the registered trademark native, you should probably look up the source of the word Mississauga, you fucking retards.
Thank you. Goodbye.
You speak by the way you speak. Birds chirping loud in the hood, I would lose they beaks. Know that shot you was fighting that down in the creek.
No, he's not, you fucking retard.
But you got that degree. What do you mean? Bitch, you don't know what I seen. Bitch, you ain't been on the scene. Record is clean. I'm too wavy. Make cause your men wanna date me. I got the sauce, gravy. More than they cannot replace me. Cause I'm from the West End. Bitch, nigga, better watch that top and find out you top to the cops. So when it turn hot on your block. I'm from the West End. So they claim you a bad man, but y'all what a bad girl crew. Let me show you what a bad girl do. But you didn't know that I'm from the West End. I'm from the West End. Nigga, what you saying? I'm from the West End. I'm from the West End. Nigga, what you saying?
Association of Chiefs of Police. 680 News Time, 1248. The U.S. President-elect Joe Biden.
You should have a flag.
President-elect Joe Biden plans to honor those killed by the coronavirus in a lighting ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial, reflecting on the evening of January 19th, right before his inauguration. The Presidential Inaugural Committee says the event will be the first ever lighting around the reflecting pole to memorialize American lives lost. The Inaugural Committee is also inviting communities around the country to join, lighting up buildings and ringing church bells at 5:30 p.m. in a national moment of unity and remembrance. Biden and Kamala Harris plan to take their oaths of office outside the U.S. Capitol on January 20th while complying with COVID-19 protocols. Mike Gracia, Washington. 680 News Time, 1249.
Oh, what's the real letters GOP don't appear much in Russian writing.
Of Ukraine Flight 752. Each family will receive $150,000 for every victim as they prepare to mark the first anniversary on the January 8th crash. Those killed dozens of Canadian citizens and permanent residents. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister said in a statement, our country is among others, taking a coordinated approach to obtaining reparations from Iran. This is 680 News. This just into 680 News from Premier Doug Ford, who says today, following my conversation with Rod Phillips, I've accepted his resignation as Ontario's Minister of Finance.
You just ruined your vacation, dummy. You just ruined your
Caribbean vacation.
Oh, financially, yeah, but we're built for the whole vacation.
Developing story. We'll check traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
680 News time, 12:50. Does your credit card debt keep you up at night?
Nope.
I know mine did. Hi, I'm Adam, and 6 years ago, I was no different, so I started New Borrow. Our proven step-by-step system helps homeowners eliminate debt and save thousands, like Tina.
Now I sleep at night, my debts are paid off, and I only make one monthly payment.
That's what's happened now.
Hundreds of other five-star Google reviews, and apply today to start saving.
Use your home to get a loan with New Borrow. Visit newborrow.com. License 13115.
It's right there in front of her. A hot meal, a bright spot in a tough time. And for the
She's
first
not
time
allowed
in what
into
seems
the
like
shelter.
Forever, she's filled with hope.
It ain't on the
You
Scott
can
mission, but
provide
it
a
is a men's
nutritious
shelter.
meal for just $4.25 per person, and ensure that everyone who comes to the Scott mission is warmly
So the one
welcomed
who
by
was telling
people
us she
who
was
care. It's right there in
Basically
front of
being
you.
offered slave
The chance
wages.
to
You
fill
know what it
someone
came
with
down to
hope.
is basically
Donate
$3
today
an
at
hour.
scottmission.com.
We're doing
That's
sweatshop, like,
scottmission.com.
solid.
680 News time, 12:51. Traffic and weather together. Let's check the roads with Carrie
The
Perskins.
fashion
This
district.
report is brought to you by 407 ETR. I'm looking at an easy drive right now on the major routes. The 401 is lightly traveled in both directions. We had some earlier problems on the southbound DVP near Don Mills, but that issue's long gone. No delays anymore. The Gardner, that's smooth sailing into and out of downtown as well. And I checked with Toronto Transportation about a problem northbound on Kennedy approaching the 401.
It
That
was
has
1
cleared,
degree
so
when I
already
checked the
delays have
thermometer
improved
before.
on
Now
that
it's
route.
3.
We still have a closure in Thornhill. John is shut down both ways between Henderson and Bayview. That's for broken water main repairs. It's scheduled to reopen on Monday. Download the 407 ETR mobile app and set your usual route for personalized alerts impacting your commute. Available on the App Store or Google Play today. And now with the extended forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, temperatures today had up to 3 degrees. That's our guaranteed high, and we will have some sun trying to break through, and then temperatures drop down to -6 tonight, feeling like -9. For New Year's Day, first day of 2021, it is going to be
Thank you. I was wondering which one was
calm
New
in the
Year's.
morning because it is going to be quite active by the late afternoon and evening. We have the potential for some ice pellets for a prolonged period of time. Also, the potential for freezing rain just depends on how warm the atmosphere will actually get. And then how cold it is at the surface, that is how freezing rain really sets up. So that could lead to up to 5 millimeters of ice accretion. That is that buildup where it could encase your vehicle. That will be for areas really north, west, and west of the city where there's the best chance of that ice buildup will happen. And then other areas will see rain. For us here in the downtown core, that's what we're expecting, mixing with a little snow. And the further north you go, it will be snow. So an active day tomorrow evening, a high of 2 and a low of 0. Snow showers in the morning on Saturday and a high of 3. Right now it's 1 at
I
Pearson,
just
1 at
realized. You
680
said his
News,
court
our
date is
guaranteed high
today. I
is
just
3.
realized what that means. They said December
680 News
31st.
time, 12:53, coming up at 1 o'clock. We're following breaking news from the province.
Why am I not in
Finance
jail?
Minister
This man's
Rod
free to go
Phillips
into jail.
is
That makes
out.
no
He's
sense.
resigned as Ontario's Minister of Finance after his controversial trip to the Caribbean, and assuming the role is Peter Falvey. All that straight ahead at 1
man should
o'clock.
not go to jail, but 10 others should go free if he's innocent.
Hi,
Go
I'm Frank Castle,
But why
President
did Lexi and Fred go to jail? You're throwing me onto the street.
You understand the value of time, your time.
Oh, we're going to release you from jail, but you can't go home. Then you're going to be in jail, stupid, because I'll violate the same day. I'll come punch your judge ass out. Oh, but I'm a white judge. You'll notice the black judge is smart enough not to let me see his face. 3 different times on the video chat. How come his is
From all of us at Lexus,
blacked out?
Happy New Year and
All black everything. Trusted jurist. I like that one, jurist, because you really replace it with 12 jurist. How many jurists? It's not specified in the law.
Flash content.
You're going to
A
have 10
Disney
or
Pixar
5 or
classic
14
is
or
getting a
30.
social media
It's always
makeover.
12. No, it's not. Typically it's 14 plus 3 alternates for our types of
What
cases.
started out as a fun idea cooked up
But
on
I'm thinking
TikTok
kill
is now
yours.
a full-blown
Hey, how about that $7 million
Ratatouille
clubhouse in
TikTok
Winnipeg?
musical, serving up some serious star power.
We love wasting money.
Brady, Ashley,
Buddy dropped 10 mil on this building, hasn't
But
lost
who
a darn
could play
cent. He
Remy,
works with
the
us. See
rat
the
of all our
difference?
dreams? Titus Burgess bringing the Ratatouille to life, based on the 2007 Disney Pixar film.
I was like, oh, I guess I should watch the movie to remember who Remy is, and I didn't realize he was the lead.
Titus starring in the show, accompanied by a 20-piece orchestra with original music, a director, and a choreographer.
Ratatouille, the TikTok musical, will start streaming tomorrow at 7 p.m. for 72 hours. Coming up in 60 seconds, very modest moves on the day in Wall Street. We'll have the business report with Chris McCusker.
680 News Time, 12:55. This is Superfan Napatia. You see me driving a lot of SUVs.
I see you driving lots of
new
SUVs,
Genesis
yeah.
GV80. The only seat
Into
that
the
can compare to
ground.
my outside seat is behind the wheel of my new luxury
600.
SUV by Genesis. But there is very limited availability. Test drive the official car of the Superfan. Book your appointment at genesismississauga.ca. Don't miss the hottest SUV, the Genesis GV80.
Nearly 1 in 2 of us will be diagnosed with cancer in our lifetime. So if it's not you, it could be the person beside you. That's why right now, the Canadian Cancer Society is funding life-changing research for all cancers. Our donors are people just like you, making a difference for the half of us who will be diagnosed, along with the other half devoted to their care. Donate at cancer.ca because empathy is bigger than apathy. Science is bigger than any tumor, and life is bigger than cancer.
680 News Time, 12:56. And now the business report. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Zach, we've got a fair bit of fluctuation and
Somebody's
really
not
modest
getting paid.
moves,
Hey, I don't know
so
when they're
very
getting
light
paid.
trading on the final day of 2020. The
Not
Dow at
today.
this moment is pulling back from a record. It's only down a point, though.
Right,
The
that's what
S&P
I'm asked, right? I know it's about
the
to get
NASDAQ
something.
down 26, and the
Yeah, I
NASDAQ,
gotta
by the way,
rob somebody. I gotta
far
run
and
my
away
mask.
the big
I wanna
winner
know
of
for sure
2020
who
up
did
by
it.
43%. Well, the TSX right now is higher by a single point, 17,547, up by about 3% in 2020. Carl Shimada is Chief Market Strategist at Cambridge Global Payments. He offers some perspective.
That's why people scream at me when I handle what I'm not.
Rise and equity prices fall.
Every time it comes down to charging me with something, they gotta make something up, or they gotta use his black gang is threatened us, so we're gonna fucking die. And they don't use that.
Essentially turned into a zombie.
So they're so hell-bent on insisting I'm white, wait for me to accept me white.
Continue to see
If
interest
you
rates
release me to the street, they don't want to have
near
it.
zero level, and we continue to see credit-worthy companies able to borrow lots of money.
It shouldn't matter to you what the fuck race I have, let alone what I believe. I love how they keep saying, well, what do you think?
An economy that's actually growing.
Oh, it's in his heart. Yeah, like his blood.
Now, shares in Air Canada down
Well,
by
you keep
about
finding him
0.5%
in the
now,
neighborhood where he's
23.08.
from, because he's
This
from
stock
there. Why
down
does he keep telling you
52%
you
this
don't
year.
belong?
Of course, the airline industry has been
You
hit hard
don't.
by COVID-19. Shares in Air Canada
Every
got
time
at
they
least
send
2
one of these
downgrades today.
one-fourth black
The
people,
airline also
yellowish
critical of the federal
skin,
government's
I'm like,
decision
listen to
to
that. You
require
look
all
like a white guy
passengers
with a
arriving
tan,
in Canada
except
by
for
air
got that
to
full
show
magnet
proof
hat.
of a negative COVID test.
And I
There
say,
are
you don't
also
belong here. I'll just say,
logistical
white guy,
concerns
hey,
with
that's
that.
enough. Why? You don't
Gold
like
right
being
now
arrested
higher by
with property?
$4.1897. Oil is down 27
Why would I
cents to
talk all I want?
48.13, and the Canadian dollar lower by 6/100, 78.36 cents US. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Scott McGilvery here. I've done hundreds of home renovations over the years, and I'm particularly careful about what I put under the floors. On my projects, I use DMX One Step 2.0. This easy-to-install underlayment has an air gap design that allows moisture to evaporate, and it doesn't require wood subfloors, which can be a food source for mold growth. DMX One Step can be used under most vinyl or laminate floors. So whatever you choose, you know
Because the
your
mold
investment
is
will
going
be
to look
protected.
for food.
DMX One Step 2.0. No mold, no
They keep telling us we don't make sense talking about anthropomorphism. We're literal.
Being
animals and things. But you're always making sure the virus is good. We're rewarding the virus. We're rewarding the virus. Go check the next video at the very end.
To create your favorite Indian dishes. Order today and experience why Bindia Indian Bistro is a TripAdvisor Hall of Fame member. Bindia Indian Bistro, the essence of India.
I don't stack up my cases either, usually.
Get 10% off your takeout order today when you book through Bindia.ca.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for province of Ontario. Show your love for local businesses by shopping online, curbside, takeout, or delivery. A message from Ontario. Yours to rediscover.
By the way, the comment yesterday, I think you're wearing your mask on your head.
And overcast feels like -2. 680 News time, 1 o'clock.
So this pattern was on a bandana first, and then they put it on masks. That's how influential we are. The people at the restaurants are wearing these patterns on their masks.
I'm Scott Burnett. And I'm Zach Bovensteiners with making news right now.
Finance Minister after Premier Doug Ford says he accepted Phillips's resignation following his controversial Caribbean trip.
Another record-breaking day in Ontario. Over 3,000 new cases of COVID-19. More on the New Year's Eve figures straight ahead.
Maintain a level playing field. The call from a Toronto business leader with new local restrictions on the way, while the federal government will soon require a negative COVID test for anyone flying into Canada. Looking back at a year of difficult decisions,
why does everybody think what they want is what the government's responsible for?
They've had to make.
I want
criticisms that came along with
this.
Crowds are still in search for their first win. Canada looks to remain
the PSWs wanted all the old people to die. No one there anymore, and they all died. And now there's more.
Very modest moves.
You're a
and
PSW in
some
Ontario, you're
fluctuation
probably
on
a piece
Wall
of
Street
shit.
to close out 2020, which has been a winning year for markets. And the Canadian casino operator is going private. Business at 26.
You never get hired as a private contractor.
This report is brought to you by TSC. A couple of new problems on city streets. We have a collision reported at Browns Line and Evans Avenue, so expect some lane restrictions there. And another crash at Runnymede and St. Clair. So it's getting busy in all directions approaching that intersection. But we're looking at a great drive on the major routes. Not spotting any problems on the 401 in either direction. The Don Valley Parkway is lightly traveled, and the Gardner looks good into and out of the city as well. Snuggle up in warmth and softness this season with St. Clair's Down alternative blanket available at TSC. Get it today and save up to 30%. Shop TSC.ca. And now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, it's a really calm day across the GTA. Mainly cloudy conditions. We do have some sun trying to break its way through, and we will hit 3 degrees. That's our guaranteed high today. We drop down to -6 during the overnight as we have some clearing, and those winds will not be as gusty tonight as they have been in previous evenings. Right now, it's 1 at Pearson, 1 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high is 3.
680 News time, 102.
We have breaking news from the province. The Premier Doug Ford says he has accepted Rod Phillips' resignation as Ontario's Minister of Finance.
I don't know if that's the right solution or not. That's the guy that borrows all the money we need, and we need him to be able to lie to the bank, eh?
Following his conversation with Rod Phillips, he's accepted his resignation as Ontario's Minister of Finance. Ford says in a statement, at a time when the people of Ontario have sacrificed so much, today's resignation is a demonstration that our government takes seriously our obligation to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Phillips landed at Pearson this morning after taking a controversial holiday in St. Bart's on December 13th, despite provincial guidelines urging people to avoid non-essential travel. Phillips said earlier this week he chose to go ahead with the trip, not knowing the province would be placed under lockdown, saying he now regrets the decision to go and apologizes. In the meantime, Ford says he's asked Minister Peter Bethlen-Falvey to assume the role of Minister of Finance and deliver the government's 2021 budget. He says this move will help ensure economic stability in the months ahead as the province supports Ontarians through the COVID-19 pandemic and charts the path to long-term economic recovery. Ford continues to say, I want to once again thank every person in Ontario for their ongoing resolve in the face of this terrible global pandemic. Together, we will weather this storm and beat this virus. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Morton.
A grim pandemic milestone for Ontario as we prepare to ring in 2021 with new cases of COVID-19 topping the 3,000 mark. It comes a day after Toronto's top doctor warned we would see a prolonged period of unsettling numbers. 680's Adam Steinberg is breaking it down.
There are 2 records to report today. Let's start with the case count at 3,328. With nearly 64,000 tests completed, the positivity rate shifts today at just over 5.5%. Now let's take a deeper dive into today's hospitalization stats. The number of patients admitted to the ICU also record-setting at 45. Another 56 fatalities also being announced today, raising Ontario's death toll to 4,530. And a quick regional breakdown, Toronto accounting for 888 cases, followed by Peel at 431 and York Region at 418. I'm Adam Steinberg.
680 News Time 105. Canada is expected to kick off the new year with stricter pandemic restrictions from Toronto and the federal government. 680 Stuart McGinn joins us with the latest on the action being taken.
Restrictions for local businesses are coming. We just don't know what they are. Dr. Eileen DeVilla saying the announcement will take place early next week. Maureen Sirois is the president of the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Areas and tells me what businesses want has been the same through the weeks of changing restrictions.
We are still advocating for that kind of a model where we could serve our customers safely in our stores without being fully locked down. It really ruined the Christmas season for many, many retailers.
Sirois says with no clarity on what might be ahead, she only hopes the playing field can be leveled out. That's what's happening locally. Well, nationally, the early days of 2021 will welcome new restrictions for international air travelers while upping measures to educate and enforce the 14-day quarantine. Canada will also soon require those flying into the country to produce a negative COVID-19 test 72 hours before their flight. I'm Stuart McGinn.
The mayor and the chief medical officer of health standing by some of their more difficult decisions that had to be made over the past year, despite the pushback from many. 680's Moment Qureshi has the details.
Dr. Eileen DeVilla, the city's chief medical officer of health, has been tasked with making some of the most difficult decisions in this pandemic, from making masks mandatory to tightening up restrictions. But some harsh criticism has come her way as a result. But she says all the choices were done with the goal of keeping people healthy.
We were really seeking to minimize the loss of life and to mitigate the negative impact of COVID-19, to preserve the healthcare system, and to minimize the broader health and social impacts associated with COVID-19.
Any lockdown orders came from the province, and although they did result in some small businesses suffering major losses or even shutting down, Mayor Tory stands by it.
What I don't do is back away from my strong support for the Premier and his government with respect to measures that impacted upon business.
Tory maintains the lockdowns were the right thing to do. I'm Moment Qureshi.
680 News Time 107. A 2-alarm house fire near Eglinton and Oakwood Avenue has turned fatal. Emergency crews responded to 106 Clovelly Avenue just before 10 o'clock last night. Acting fire chief Jim Jessup says the deceased was found during initial searches. Another person was treated on scene for smoke inhalation. The Ontario Fire Marshal now looking into the cause of that blaze.
The Toronto Raptors' quest for a win continues in Tampa, Florida. Sportsnet 5 Night Events Colin Teskey has a preview of tonight's action against the Knicks.
If you want another glimpse into the strange year of 2020, look no further than tonight's matchup between the Raptors and the New York Knicks. Toronto comes in winless to start the year with 3 straight losses and are looking up at the upstart Knicks in the NBA standings. New York has benefited from Mississauga native R.J. Barrett coming into his own in his second full NBA season. Barrett comes in averaging just over 16 points per game. And it is early in the NBA season, but the Raptors look to get back in the win column to kick off 2021 tonight at 7:30 on Sportsnet. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Colin Teskey.
680 News Time 108. The man considered the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history has died in prison. Jim Ryan of ABC News has more.
It was an unlikely partnership. Texas Ranger James Holland
Tell me about the girl that you met in Columbus.
and a man named Samuel Little.
She would let parts concealed.
In 650 hours of interviews over 16 months, Little would tell Holland about 93 murders he claimed to have committed in over a dozen states. 57 of the confessions have been checked out as legitimate. Police say they have no reason to doubt the others are as well. Little has now died in a California prison at 80. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
One county in California ending the year overwhelmed by COVID cases.
Here in LA County now, the National Guard is heading in to help the medical examiner deal with the crush of bodies. On Wednesday alone, 274 COVID patients reported dead in LA County. Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer.
Most heartbreaking is that if we had done a better job reducing transmission of the virus, many of these deaths would not have happened.
And now the new, possibly more transmissible COVID variant first discovered in the UK, found in Southern California, causing concern about higher rates of spread. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price of gas. 680 News Time 109.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day on your radio, on our mobile app, and on your smart speaker.
Play 680 News.
The Chesterfield Shop. Hi, Steve here from the Chesterfield Shop. My family has had the privilege of serving this great community since 1948, and I'm saddened to say that our famous in-store Boxing Week sale will be postponed for the first time in over 72 years. So why not go online or call us to set up a virtual appointment? We're worth the wait.
The Chesterfield Shop, your leather superstar.
Leather and fabric savings at thechesterfieldshop.com or call us 24/7.
Now the 680 News gas price update. I'm predicting the price of gas will go up at midnight to $1.07.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time 110.
If your furnace is broken, call Reliance Home Comfort 24/7 and we'll get there fast. Only Reliance has over 45,000 5-star reviews, so you can depend on us to put you first and take safety precautions. Need a great deal on a new one? Call now. Ask about our next day installation guarantee and get a $1,000 Visa gift card, plus a Google Nest thermostat when you buy a featured furnace. Need a great deal fast? Call Reliance. Conditions apply. Savings off our regular price. See website for details. The Canadian film and TV industry recognizes it's time to build a better workforce, which includes more opportunities for Black, Indigenous, and persons of color. HireByPOC.com is here to help make this happen. Whether you're already in the business, trying to get a start, or in a position to hire, HireByPOC.com can connect you to the right people. From script to development, production to post, distribution to marketing, HireByPOC.com. HireBIPOC.com. Help build a stronger industry together.
News Time 111. Traffic and weather together on the ones. Hey, it's Gary Pritzkus.
This report is brought to you by Freedom Mobile. We have a vehicle fire on the northbound 400. It's just north of King Road on the right shoulder. Just a tow truck on the scene right now, according to traffic spotters, MTO, and fire crews en route to this. Now, northbound 400, it is starting to get a little bit busy north of King Road with that problem on the right shoulder and some reduced visibility with the smoke making its way across the roadway as well. Now, that's the only problem on our major routes. Everything else is looking to be in good shape right now. If you're getting around on city streets, an update on problems at St. Clair and Runnymede. Westbound St. Clair at Runnymede, all lanes are closed, and that is due to a collision. So a heavy backup westbound St. Clair as you approach Runnymede. And you might find some lane restrictions at Evans Avenue and Browns Line. We had a collision reported at that intersection as well. This Boxing Week at Freedom, get select Samsung Galaxy phones included with unlimited data plans starting at $55 a month. Conditions apply. Details at freedommobile.ca. And now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
And there could be a few flurries this afternoon for areas northeast of the city, closer towards Georgian Bay. But other than that, it is a mainly overcast day. Guaranteed high is 3 degrees, dropping to -6 tonight. There will be some clearing, and the winds won't be as noticeable, so it will only feel like -9 when you factor in the wind. Tomorrow's high, 2 degrees, and we're expecting a dry start to the day, but a pretty active afternoon. We have this leading edge of ice pellets moving into the Niagara region first. Then we're going to see the transition over to potentially a little bit of freezing rain. And then here in the downtown core out towards Mississauga, Burlington, Oakville, it will be a rain-snow mix. Snow for areas further north. And then it will change to all snow by Saturday morning. Right now, 1 at Pearson, 1 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high is 3.
680 News Time 113. Time for the Dynamic Funds Market Minute live at the Business Center. Chris McCusker.
Well, Scott, the Dow closed at a record yesterday, and as it stands right now, it could close at another one today. It's higher by 6 points. The S&P up by a single point, the NASDAQ down 27, and the TSX about where it started the day, 17,546. Gold is higher by $5, 18.98. Oil is down 28 cents, 48.12 a barrel, and the Canadian dollar lower by 2/100, 78.40 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
The greatest investment tip ever? Start building a plan with a financial advisor today. Learn more about the value of advice at dynamic.ca/advice.
Hi, I'm Stuart Rudner, and the team at Rudner Law would like to wish you all the best for the holidays. We know this has been a challenging year, and we want to help you start 2021 on the right track by ensuring that your legal rights are protected. Give yourself a gift and get the advice you need. These are uncertain times. If you think you might need an employment lawyer, you probably do.
HR lawyers, employment lawyers, workplace lawyers, whatever you call them, you'll be glad you did. RudnerLaw.ca.
Being a new mom isn't easy, but hugging's easy. Loving's easy. And baby D drops are easy too. Simply apply just one drop where baby feeds. There's no taste, so it doesn't interfere with feeding. Pediatricians recommend vitamin D daily for breastfed infants. Baby D drops, the sunshine vitamin in just one drop.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
We've got an overcast sky in downtown Toronto, 1 degree, feeling like -2. Good afternoon, I'm Scott Burnett.
And good afternoon, I'm Zach Bodenstein. Here are the top stories right now.
It was a significant error in judgment, a dumb mistake.
And that dumb mistake has cost Ontario's finance minister his job. In a statement, Premier Doug Ford says he has accepted the resignation of Rod Phillips, who returned to Canada this morning after taking a December vacay to the Caribbean despite pandemic orders in place, asking Canadians to avoid any non-essential travel outside the country. Pickering Uxbridge Rep Peter Bethlen Falvey has been called in up to sit in as interim finance minister. Today's COVID-19 numbers from the province, perhaps a taste of things to come in the early new year. Another record shattered with 3,328 new cases in Ontario, the first time we've been over the 3,000 mark. And a reminder that this New Year's will be like no other. The TTC and Go not offering free service as they did in previous years anywhere tonight, as not to encourage going out for any sort of celebrations. But there is plenty to do for you online, for example, including countless live YouTube concerts and a CN Tower light show that will be streaming on the City of Toronto's YouTube page. It's time for 680 Sports over at Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Colin Teskey.
Kyle Lowry is deeming this game a must-win. Just 4 games of the young NBA season. The Raptors enter their matchup against the Knicks tonight, winless on the year at 0-3, while Canadian RJ Barrett and company are 2-2, and the Raptors are looking up at them in the NBA standings. Watch the Knicks and Raptors on New Year's Eve, starting at 7:30 on Sportsnet. World Juniors, Team Canada looks to secure the top seed in Group A. They'll battle Finland, who comes in with an identical perfect record. The puck drops at 6 p.m. Meantime, the Czech Republic is getting set to face Austria at 2 o'clock. While the U.S. will face Sweden in the late game in Edmonton at 9:30. NHL news out of Columbus. Pierre-Luc Dubois is not at Blue Jackets camp and remains unsigned, while the Cleveland Browns have had 2 more positive cases for COVID-19 and had to close their facility today. Browns need a win this Sunday to keep their playoff hopes alive, and the Dolphins have also named Tua Tagovailoa their starting quarterback for Sunday against the Bills. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 1:17.
You have more important things to do than be stuck in traffic.
Listen for up-to-date traffic reports, only on 680 News.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect
ZipRecruiter. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
680 News Time 118.
We'll take a quick look at the COVID-19 picture across the country to close out 2020. Today, Alberta estimating around 1,200 new cases of COVID-19. They've got a positivity rate of about 7%. In New Brunswick today, they reported its 9th COVID-related death today. Person in their 40s in Moncton. Well, the province announced just 3 new cases. Quebec surpassing 200,000 infections today after 2,819 new cases were reported. 3,942 doses of vaccine, though, were administered yesterday in Quebec. They have reached a total vaccination rate of 29,250. Stateside, the U.S. Surgeon General is asking that Americans, much like up here in Canada, make sacrifices in their New Year's Eve celebrations tonight.
Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams is urging Americans to celebrate New Year's Eve virtually, saying it's especially important to take precautions now that a new coronavirus variant is in the U.S.
A more contagious variant means it is more critical that we follow those basic public health measures, especially this New Year's. Wear a mask, wash your hands, watch your distance.
The Surgeon General joined other public health officials in saying the vaccines should be effective against the new variant. For officials, the ABC News, Washington.
Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast. And if you're looking to imbibe tonight, you have some limited options. Time is running out to go pick up a couple of brewskis.
680 News Time 120.
Every week, 680 News advertisers get their message heard by 1.5 million listeners. Listeners who have money, own homes, drive cars, do their taxes.
I'm Mark Felstein of Mark Felstein & Associates.
And I'm Sarah Felstein, the Next Generation, and we run an accounting and tax practice in Markham, Ontario.
We've been advertising on 680 News for the last 10 years.
Mark and Sarah Feldstein are smart investors.
It's a long-term investment, so when you invest in 680 News, you're investing in your long-term future of your business, but you have to be patient.
We did see results from 680 News right away, but I can say that over time, those results have compounded, short and long-term results.
You're branding your name over long-term. We noticed that we're off 680 News during the Christmas break. We're still getting calls because of our branding and our long-term commitment.
The nice thing also with 680 News is everybody listens to it. You'll meet someone and then they'll say, oh, I recognize your business name. I heard you on 680 News. Imagine 1.5 million listeners hearing your ad every week. Go to 680ads.com.
680 News Time 121.
Now traffic and weather together on the ones. Carrie Prentice.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. We have a new problem on the 401 westbound. As you're approaching the 427, the right lane is blocked because of a collision. Emergency crews are on the scene. So it's heavy westbound on the 401 from Kipling to approaching the 427, but looks good aside from that delay. Northbound on the 400, just north of King Road on the right shoulder, we have vehicle fire cleanup underway. Emergency crews took care of this vehicle fire pretty quickly. So it's a heavy drive on the northbound 400 as well. Gets jammed up as you approach King Road to just north of it. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, that's lightly traveled from the Gardner up to the 401. And the Gardner itself is moving very well, both into and out of the city. Traffic on it, that is, of course. And if you're getting around on city streets, westbound St. Clair at Runnymede, all lanes are closed, and that is due to a collision. So it's backed up westbound on St. Clair, really jammed as you approach Runnymede with that closure. And you might still find some lane restrictions at Evans Avenue and Browns Line. That's due to another collision. 407 ETR has added 33 new lane kilometers in 2020 at no cost to taxpayers to keep you moving to the things that matter most. Visit 407etr.com. And now with the extended forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, it is going to be a rather uneventful day. Lots of clouds across GTA, and temperatures head up to our guaranteed high of 3 degrees, and then we head into the evening. There is a cold front sweeping through. We head down to -6, and it will feel like -9 when you factor in the wind. So for tomorrow, 2 degrees is the high, 0 is the low. It starts off deceptively calm. It looks great. We'll see some sunshine as well. But then by the afternoon and late afternoon, rather, we'll start to see the leading edge of this storm system rolling in. It brings a mix of ice pellets and some freezing rain, and then a rain-snow mix for us here in the city. And then
it's supposed to be freezing rain right now, isn't it?
For any ice buildup will be for areas west of the city, out towards Kitchener-Waterloo. As you take the 401 headed in that direction, traveling west, that is the best chance for any ice buildup. And then we head into Saturday with a high of 3 degrees. That snow will taper off by the time we get to the afternoon. Right now, it is 1 at Pearson, 1 downtown. Our guaranteed high is 3.
Coming up at 1:30, trading his job and reputation for a couple of weeks on the beach. Rod Phillips is out. Premier Doug Ford says he's accepted the now former finance minister's resignation today after Phillips faced harsh criticism for heading to the Caribbean despite calls for Canadians not to be traveling outside of the country for non-essential reasons due to the pandemic. We will have the very latest on the story and much more straight ahead.
This is 680 News.
If you're having a break this year and cook all your holiday favorites on a Traeger wood pellet grill instead. Fueled by all-natural hardwood pellets, Traeger grills add incredible wood-fired flavor to everything you cook. Traeger's also boasts 6-in-1 versatility that lets you cook everything from roast turkey and grilled veggies to baked cookies and smoked eggnog. Plus, Wi-Fi technology lets you control your grill right from your phone.
I can't keep these assholes with my TV set alone. You're gonna
We work for you.
From talking to the newsmakers
To getting the answers to what you need to know about COVID-19.
and answers about your job and finances.
If you have a question, ask it at 680news.com/answers.
680 News gets the answers.
We're in this together.
680 News, working for you.
Here's a PSA. LCBO and beer stores are closing at 6 tonight. Some restaurants will be delivering until 11. But the countdown to 2021 could be a drier one for those in British Columbia. No booze will be served.
Always is, you moron. They're 3 hours behind us.
Pretty straightforward. You can't buy liquor after 8 p.m. if you happen to be near a store that's still open at that time. You can't order booze at a restaurant after 8 p.m. Both of those things would be in contravention of the health order. What isn't all that simple? We've spoken with one owner of a restaurant in Vancouver who says now he's going to have to call his entire guest list. He's had quite a few people who are hoping to have dinner and maybe a glass of wine or champagne to help welcome in the new year. And he's going to go through this entire list.
Oh, that's horrible.
Let them know that Dr. Bonnie Henry said you can't have liquor after 8 at the establishment, and hopefully they can move them around. But it's definitely putting some pressure on these restaurants. In his case, he was totally not expecting this change. I'm Rhea Renew.
This Boxing Week, unwrap more with Rogers. Like more savings with all our best phones and accessories for $0 down with financing. Unwrap more time together when you order with Rogers Pro on the go for fast free delivery and setup as soon as today in select areas. And unwrap more cheer when you get a Rogers Infinite plan with no data overages on Canada's largest 5G network. Get everything on your wish list for your family or small business during the Wrapped in Red event. On now for a limited time at Rogers. Visit Rogers.com today.
This is Superfan Napatia. You see me driving a lot of SUVs, but I have fallen in love with the new Genesis GV80. The only seat that can compare to my courtside seat is behind the wheel of my new luxury SUV by Genesis. But there is very limited availability. Test drive the official car of the Superfan. Book your appointment at genesismississauga.ca. Don't miss the hottest SUV, the Genesis GV80.
Now the business report live in the Business Center. Chris McCusker.
Well, Scott, a mostly winning session now on Van Wall Street, although there have been many ups and downs, very modest moves. The TSX right now lower by half a point, 17,545, up by about 3% this year. Great Canadian Gaming said the deal to be acquired by Apollo Global Management is being granted court approval. The casino operator says the Supreme Court of BC signed off on the investment fund's takeover offer valued at $45 a share. Now, this is the company that operates 26 gaming, entertainment, and hospitality facilities, including
gaming, entertainment, and hospitality.
Canadian gaming up by about 0.5% right now, 43.46. The stock will be delisted on the TSX once this deal is finalized sometime next year.
Why?
Price for gold right now up by $1.18.
Okay, you told us a very interesting factoid. You didn't tell us why.
16 cents to 48.24, and the Canadian dollar down by 3/100. 78.39 cents US. Now, stateside, the Dow closed at a record yesterday, and if it were to close right now, we would see another record close. So it's up by 2 points. That's all it takes. The S&P higher by a single point, and the Nasdaq down by 25 points right now, but far and away it is the big winner as far as North American markets go this year, looking potentially, depending on how today plays out, at a gain of more than 40%. Again, by comparison, the TSX up by about 3% in 2020. I'm Chris McCusker. Business continues at 26 and 56 or anytime at 680news.com.
You need a loan, but you don't want to go to the bank. So go to H. Williams Pawnbrokers. Yes, it's a place to buy and sell, but it's also a place to borrow money like a bank, but at a low rate that's not compounded. Bring in your valuables. H. Williams gives you money and locks them in their vault. Pay your loan back, get your stuff back. They're licensed and have been loaning money for over 70 years. Go see them in their safe environment. H. Williams Pawnbrokers. Look for the big red pawnbroker sign, 145 Church Street, north of Queen.
Treat yourself to the joy of driving during the Master Boxing Week event. Receive 0.5% purchase financing on select new 2021 models and make no monthly finance payments for 120 days on every new Mazda. Plus, enjoy up to $1,000 retirement on select new models. And drive on with the confidence of our unlimited mileage warranty standard on every new Mazda. Offers available from December 21st to January 4th. Visit your local Mazda dealer or Mazda.ca for details.
Traffic reports every 10 minutes on the ones.
Traffic alerts at once. This
is 680 News.
Downtown Toronto, overcast, 1 degree, feeling like -2. 680 News time of 1:30.
I'm joking. 872-6800. Help yourself to that. 992-4211, 613 area code. Hopefully, Prime Minister.
Please leave your comment that may be used on air now.
So we know you didn't do well in school because we keep repeating this. The Canadian dollar is not down 3 100ths. That would be 3 pennies. It's down 3 10,000s. That's 3 basis points. You fucking retard. Basis points. Or you could say the Canadian penny is down 3 100ths, but you can't say the dollar is down 3 100ths because it's not. That'd be 300 basis points. I don't know how the fuck you end up doing a business report when you fail a basic math test. Although since your teachers aren't required to do math or English tests, they refuse to. You know, never really surprised. You support them too, don't you? They need an extra $1,000 over and above everybody else, eh? 2 years of the kids not doing no schoolwork, and you think you're special. Dad, you're fucking retarded. Like all retards, you think you're smarter than everybody. Have a nice day, stupid.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh, I'm gonna talk down to them all the way. I don't give a fuck. I'm so sick of white people saying they run things and constantly having to be corrected and guided. White man couldn't take a shit without the black man, right? So yeah, slavery. You can talk madness all you want. If we survive the whole war and end up winning it, it don't matter what we went through on the way through it. History's written by the survivors, but you people need so much fucking help. It's pathetic. She's doing a business report and can't tell the difference between 1 and 100. Oh, now we got the YouTube admin on here. Doesn't matter, I'm going again.
The left turn lane and the left lane are blocked, and that is another collision. But just a minor delay there on the eastbound Lakeshore. Eastbound partner, that's smooth sailing heading into downtown, and a problem-free drive on the northbound DVP. On city streets, westbound staying clear at Running. All lanes are closed because of a collision. Expect delays there. Your next traffic report is at 1:41. Now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Yeah, we have just a few light snow showers.
One excess
as you travel further north this afternoon. Very, very light nature. Probably not even sticking to the ground. So that's what we're dealing with for areas north of the city as you travel up the 400. Up towards Barrie, there is a little snow shower activity, but otherwise it is dry here in the city. It's cloudy, but it looks pretty nice. I mean, consider all things considered to wrap up 2020. If we head up to a guaranteed high of 3 degrees today, cold front will sweep through tonight. It makes it a bit colder than we've been dealing with lately. -6 will be the overnight low, and a wind making it feel more like -9. Right now it's 1 at Pearson, 1 at
no grocery store wasn't connected to the cartel with Galen Weston. Food basics.
From the Ford government,
Not even gangster on that level.
He's accepted
Not even gangster on that level.
Phillips' resignation.
Phillips landing back at Pearson Airport this morning after his controversial vacay to the Caribbean. Our Michelle Morton joins us live with the latest, including the announcement of Phillips' replacement. Michelle.
Premier Doug Ford says he has accepted the resignation of Ontario's Minister of Finance. Now, this comes after Ford said he would be having a tough conversation with Rod Phillips after the now former finance minister went on a controversial holiday in St. Bart's on December 13th, despite provincial guidelines urging people to avoid non-essential travel. Ford says he wasn't told about the trip ahead of time, but learned about it shortly after it began and should have demanded Phillips return immediately, saying it's unacceptable for any public official to ignore the province's COVID-19 guidelines. Phillips landed at Pearson this morning, saying he regrets the decision of going and apologizes for it.
I understand my actions have angered a lot of people, and I have to earn back that confidence. I think that there's very important work that still needs to be done, and I'd like to continue to be a part of that. But you know, I do understand.
What did you come back from vacation for, stupid? You knew you were going to get fucked over.
Ford says in a statement, at a time when the people of Ontario have sacrificed so much, today's resignation is a demonstration that our government takes seriously our obligation to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
You gotta watch the water condensation will get down into the
Peter Bethlenfalvy to assume the role of Minister of Finance and deliver the government's 2021 budget. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Morton.
When? Who the fuck cares about the 21 budget, bro?
For more on Doug Ford's decision.
Well, no, the premier really didn't have much choice.
Especially when you're getting rid of the guy that borrows the money. His job is to borrow the money.
And that's, of course, what he needed to do, because otherwise it was just going to continue to dominate the news cycle and drip by drip by drip continue to erode the credibility of this government that is struggling to keep some kind of semblance and control over the COVID management.
Meantime, the province is reporting another one-day record of new COVID-19 cases surpassing 3,000. As for the hotspots, Toronto saw 888 cases, Peel 413, and 418 in York Region. 680's Adam Steinberg with the details.
Setting its third straight single-day record, Ontario is reporting 3,328 cases of COVID-19. The Ford government says nearly 64,000 tests were completed, bringing the positivity rate to 5.7%, and another record to tell you about. In Ontario's already overwhelmed hospitals, 45 more patients were administered to the ICU. The province also confirming another 56 virus-related deaths in the past 24 hours, matching the highest daily death toll from the first wave of the pandemic. I'm Adam Steinberg.
680 News Time 136. Toronto's top doctor says people should brace for unsettling numbers for some time. She also hinted that new restrictions are on the way for businesses next week, which is making some nervous. Now, this comes as the federal government is also planning to implement new international travel rules in the new year. 680 Stuart McGinn has more.
City officials say more measures for businesses and workplaces will be announced next week, but there's little idea on what could come next. Maureen Sirois, the president of Toronto's Association of Business Improvement Areas, says the struggle for businesses has been real, consistent, but also frustrating for those trying to follow these changing guidelines.
The constant pivoting and are we locked down and how locked down and when are we locked down, it's very hard on business not to know what's happening, and the changes are constant.
Calls continue for a level playing field where businesses can stay open, serving customers with strict capacity limits in place. And while that discussion continues locally, the national focus turns to international air travel. In a matter of days, anyone flying into Canada will have to produce a negative COVID-19 test 3 days before their flight, while officials are stepping up messaging and enforcement on the 14-day quarantine. I'm Stuart McGinn.
680 News Time 137. On this last day of 2020, 680's Moment Qureshi is taking a look back at some of the difficult decisions Mayor Tory and Dr. Eileen de Villa have had to make this year in the face of harsh criticisms.
For the last 10 months, Dr. Eileen de Villa had to make some very difficult decisions, including tightening up restrictions and mandating masks. Those came with some harsh criticisms, but de Villa tells me each decision was made with the goal of protecting people's health and the healthcare system.
I know that I can sleep well at night, knowing that the team here at Toronto Public Health did the very best they could with the information and resources we had.
Lockdown orders came from the province, with one of the harshest critiques coming from small business owners who questioned why some big box stores were able to stay open in lockdowns while they had to shut their doors.
Mayor Tory understands the confusion.
I can't really explain the inconsistency to people, and because there is no explanation. I mean, there's all these supply chain arguments and whatnot, but I just think that it wasn't consistent to have small businesses treated the way they were and these larger businesses able to be open.
Tory says he feels very badly about the brutal impact endured by small businesses and restaurants, but maintains lockdowns were the right thing to do. I'm Omen Qureshi.
680 News Time 1:38. A good way to spend New Year's Eve in a pandemic. Team Canada puts its undefeated record on the line at the World Junior Hockey Championship, taking on Finland for top spot in Group A. Canada won its first 3 games as expected, but this evening's test is the biggest so far. The last 2 gold medal winning countries going head to head, and the team is as healthy as it's going to be already with captain Kirby Dach for the entire tournament. Forward Dylan Holloway returned to the lineup in Tuesday's win against Switzerland. Puck drop is at 6 o'clock tonight.
Another New Year's Eve matchup between the Raptors and Knicks going tonight at Sportsnet. Our Colin Teskey with a preview.
Looking for some positives heading into 2021, the Raptors come into their New Year's Eve matchup with the Knicks winless at 0-3. While the Knicks, under new head coach Tom Thibodeau, are seeing a Canadian talent blossom in his sophomore season. The Knicks are 2-2, and in large part it's because of the play of Mississauga's R.J. Barrett. The 3rd overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft comes into tonight's matchup, averaging just over 16 points per game. And despite 69 games left and a long season ahead, Kyle Lowry is calling tonight's game a must-win heading into the new year. From Sportsnet 590 Fan, I'm Colin Teskey.
In 30 seconds, we'll check where the price of gas is heading at midnight.
680 News Time 1:39.
Your roof sprung a leak, water came through, shorted out the furnace, the radiator too.
If you need money now, I mean right now, Prudent Financial has been there for you since 1984.
If you need money in a hurry, PrudentFinancial.net. Get money quick, just one click. PrudentFinancial.net.
If you own your car or your home, get a loan. Borrow up to $75,000 in less than an hour. Self-employed, no proof of income, that's okay.
PrudentFinancial.net.
And now the 680 News gas price update. Enbro predicts it's going up to $1.07.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather coming up next. 680 News Time 1:40.
One radio station can work wonders for your business, but 2 stations can put you in a different league. Second-generation owner of Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
We've been working with CHFI for over a decade, and our account manager suggested that maybe we add 680 News into the mix, and we've seen great results through adding that extra demographic, the importance of having both stations. For us, we feel it is best for our business, and it gets people through the door.
So you rely on your CHFI and 680 News account managers to play a key role in your marketing campaigns.
We have a great working relationship. We do absolutely trust their judgment in providing advice for us, as well as future strategies for advertising potentially on digital and other opportunities, and we collaborate really well to come up with the best possible plan for our business.
Sounds like they're part of the Lazy Boy team.
We're really looking forward to getting together again with our 680 News and CHFI account managers to have lunch together and maybe talk a little bit of business as well.
Get 680 News and 98.1 CHFI working for you. Visit 680ads.com. That's 680ads.com.
680 News Time 141. Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Pizza Pizza. Northbound 400 north of King Road. The right lane remains closed for vehicle fire cleanup. Traffic is heavy from just north of the King City en route to north of King Road. About a 3-kilometer backup through that stretch. Alternate routes are lightly traveled. Westbound on the 401 approaching the 427. The right lane is blocked there. That is due to a collision with emergency crews on the scene. Looks like it should clear soon. A slow go on the westbound 401 from Islington and the Express to approaching the 427. And also a collision eastbound on the lakeshore at Jameson. The left turn lane and the left lane are blocked. But we still have 2 right lanes heading past this problem. So not much of a delay. Just watch out for that eastbound lakeshore as you're coming up to Jameson. Looks good on the eastbound Gardner heading into downtown. No problems on the Don Valley Parkway. And the eastbound 401 is in great shape as well. Now at Pizza Pizza, get free delivery. Order online or on the Pizza Pizza app and use the promo code DELIVERY. Minimum $20 order. Safe, reliable delivery. That's Pizza Pizza. And now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, we have a really calm day across the GTA. There are some flurries as you travel north on the 400 from Bradford all the way up towards Barrie. But other than that, really just another overcast day in the GTA. Guaranteed high of 3 degrees down to -6 tonight, feeling like -9 with an easing wind. It's not going to be as windy tonight. And then for 2021, really going to be a calm start to the day. It is not going to finish that way. We have temperatures headed up to 2 degrees and down to 0. The perfect recipe for some ice pellets and also some freezing rain tomorrow evening. And then that would be for areas west of the city and also northwest. So Kitchener-Waterloo up towards areas like Shelburne. That's where we have the best chance for some icing. And then also a rain-snow mix here in the city, and then snow for areas north from the 400 and points eastward. Right now, it is 1 at Pearson, 1 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today is 3.
680 News time, 1:43. And now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute live to the Business Center. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Zach, the TSX moving higher. It's up by 9 points, 17,554. The Dow is down 26. The NASDAQ lower by 31. And the S&P up by about half a point. So modest moves, very light volume for trading in the final day of 2020. And all North American markets looking at gains this year. The NASDAQ, the big winner, potentially higher by 43%. Gold is higher, or closed higher by about $2 to $18.95.10. A gain this year for gold of about 25%, the biggest annual gain in about a decade. Oil is down 24 cents, 48.16, and the Canadian dollar off by 6/100, 78.36 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Markets are changing more than ever. A financial advisor can help address your evolving portfolio needs. Speak to a financial advisor and learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
Do you suffer from CRA mail anxiety? Does the sight of a brown envelope make you sweat? Are the envelopes piling up? Don't know where to start? We do at Mark Feldstein and Associates. We deal with this every day. It's time to take control and start sleeping at night. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants now. Visit markfeldstein.ca. So the next time you see a brown envelope, think markfeldstein.ca.
Humans are the most advanced species on Earth. We've conquered fire, created powerful technologies, and yet we're still stuck paying for food delivery. Not anymore. With Good Food, you can get delicious ready-to-cook meals and grocery items like Good Food hummus, popcorn, and bacon delivered free right to your home. Good Food. Eating evolved. Visit makegoodfood.ca. With minimum purchase. Details on makegoodfood.ca.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. It's 2 degrees and overcast in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon. I'm Zach Bodenstein.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here are the top stories right now.
Breaking news from the Ford government. Rob Phillips is out as finance minister. The premier accepting his resignation after returning to Toronto from his Caribbean vacation today. Ontario setting records for daily COVID-19 cases and deaths. 3,328 infections, 56 virus-related deaths. And still to come, residents living in a neighborhood of Queens, New York, dealing with a new threat, squirrel attacks. 680 News time, 1:45. Time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Colin Teskey.
In what's been a bizarre year, the Raptors will come into their matchup on New Year's Eve looking up at the upstart New York Knicks. After 3 straight losses, Toronto enters their matchup 1.5 games back of New York, and the Knicks are led by Mississauga native R.J. Barrett, who's coming into his own in his second full NBA season. The former Duke Blue Devil is averaging just over 16 points per game. Raptors and Knicks will tip at 7:30 on Sportsnet. Meantime, at the World Juniors, Canada puts their undefeated record on the line against Finland. Both teams vying for the top spot in Group A. They'll battle at 6 p.m. from Edmonton, and before that, the Czech Republic will face Austria in Group B action starting at 2 o'clock. The Cleveland Browns closed their practice facility today after 2 more players tested positive for COVID-19. The Browns need a win on Sunday to get into the postseason, and with a playoff berth on the line this weekend for the Miami Dolphins, they have named rookie Tua Tagovailoa their starting quarterback for Buffalo. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
When it comes to attracting customers to your business,
680 News has been delivering the goods for decades, just ask Frank Serpa of Serpa Automotive Group.
We've been advertising on 680 News since 1996. Because we sell various brands, starting from entry-level vehicles to supercars, 680 can provide me with every client for every brand, because 680 News has a lot of great listeners. Also, the other advertisers that are on 680 raise the credibility of our business.
Sounds like advertising on 680 News has been working wonders for Serpa Automotive.
When you advertise on 680 News, it's like pushing the gas pedal on your car. It's instant performance, instant horsepower into your business. Every time it gets slow in the dealership, I ask my people, are we on 680 or what? It's getting slow over here. Let's get 680 on.
Get 680 News working for you. Call 680 News Advertising at 416-935-NEWS.
680 News Time, 1:48. In New York, residents living in a neighborhood of Queens are dealing with a new threat, which is squirrel attacks. Those living in the area say they've had a varmint jump on them unprovoked. One person was attacked to the point of being bitten across their fingers. The city's Department of Health advised the neighbors to hire a licensed trapper, but the large metal traps have not yet captured any squirrels. Well, what would you do if your internet service was knocked out? That's just one of the many questions after the Christmas Day explosion in Nashville.
The Christmas Day bombing in downtown Nashville knocked out phone and internet service across hundreds of miles in the south. The Nashville Police Department's phones and internet failed. The airport held up flights for hours on Christmas Day. Stores went cash only. Now, Congressman Jim Cooper, who represents Nashville, says this can't happen again. He says we're all too dependent on phone, TV, and internet to have the system fail. He's calling for congressional hearings on how to reduce telecom vulnerabilities. I'm Rita Foley.
You're listening to 680 News. It's 1:49. Americans are getting ready to ring in 2021 in front of their TVs tonight.
The most watched New Year's celebration will look a little different this year because of the pandemic. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest will take place in Times Square as usual. But Seacrest tells us
we will not pack in 1 million plus people, obviously, but we will have the performances like we always do. We will have the stage built like we always have. And I think it's important that we do bring in fun, and we do bring in this theme of celebration and this theme of moving forward and moving on from this year.
Among those performers, Jennifer Lopez, even an appearance by President-elect Joe Biden. That's tonight on ABC. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Traffic and your extended forecast next.
680 News Time, 1:50.
If you have unfiled taxes, this message is for you. With the government running massive deficits, CRA is cracking down harder than ever before. It is only a matter of time until they find you. CRA can garnish your wages, empty your bank account, lien your house, or recommend criminal prosecution. If you made a mistake, it's not too late. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants now. Visit markfeldstein.ca. markfeldstein.ca.
Hi, I'm Nadia DiDonato, VP of the Liberty Entertainment Group. We've been providing Toronto with quality food and service at our Chivo restaurants for over a decade. Now, through our online platform, we're bringing restaurant-quality groceries to your home. Our team of experts will carefully select fruits, vegetables, and meats, along with wine and spirits for worry-free delivery to your door. It's convenient, and we guarantee 100% freshness. Order today at chivomarket.com. That's CIVOmarket.com.
680 News Time, 1:51. Traffic and weather together on the ones with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Uptown Wireless. On the 400 northbound, north of King Road, the right lane remains closed, and this is for vehicle fire cleanup. So traffic is jammed on the northbound 400 from just north of the King City en route to about 1 kilometer north of King Road. That's where this problem is. Westbound on the 401, approaching the 427, that collision has cleared. It's getting better, but still a bit busy westbound on the 401 from Kipling to approaching the 427. And watch out for another collision eastbound on the Lake Shore at Jameson. The left turn lane and the left lane are blocked. There's no delay here, though. On city streets, westbound St. Clair at Runnymede, all lanes are closed for a collision investigation. Traffic is jammed from signs. Unwrap more with the Rogers Wrapped in Red event. Get a free Samsung Galaxy Tab A on select 2-year plans. Visit Rogers at Centerpoint Mall or uptownwireless.ca for details. And now with the extended forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, it is going to be a calm day. 3 is our guaranteed high today, and -6 is the overnight low, as we will have a partly cloudy sky. And then we head into tomorrow. 2 degrees will be the high temperature. 0 is the low. It is going to be a dry start to the day, a wet finish. We have periods of ice pellets and potentially some freezing rain for areas northwest and also west of the city. As you move further away from Lake Ontario, that is the better chance where we will see the potential for some icing tomorrow. And then we also have a rain-snow mix for us here in the downtown core, and then snow for areas north. And that is all on Friday evening. That's it. And then we change it over to all snow during the overnight into Saturday morning. You'll wake up to maybe 1 to 3 centimeters of snow across the GTA. This is for everybody, not just a lake effect band. And then we will have temperatures rebounding to 3 degrees on Saturday. The snow tapers off by the afternoon. Right now, 1 at Pearson, 1 downtown. Our guaranteed high today is 3.
And coming up at 2 o'clock, we are following breaking news from the Ford government. Finance Minister Rob Phillips has resigned. Peter Bethenfalvey will assume the role.
680 News Time 153.
Hi, I'm Frank Capra, President of Lexus of Oakville. At Lexus of Oakville, we understand the value of time, your time. This year, we've all learned a thing or two about taking care of each other. But then, that's been our philosophy for a long time. We start with a safe, high-quality vehicle, then we service it meticulously, so you can enjoy every moment you spend with it. From all of us at Lexus of Oakville, Happy New Year, and please stay safe.
2021 is a fresh start, so nothing should stop you from having the best year possible, especially a pesky bill.
Darren and Moe's Pay Your Bills contest is back on 98.1 CHFI.
Enter your bill at chfi.com. Our New Year's resolution is for you to have a fantastic 2021.
It starts when Darren and Mo pay your bills. Weekdays at 8, 1, and 4, beginning January 8th.
On 98.1 CHFI.
Well, New Year's celebrations in Wuhan, China, not exactly COVID-friendly.
Crowds packed the streets of the original COVID-19 epicenter of Wuhan to ring out 2020 and welcome 2021, celebrating in a way much of the world will not be able to. It was exactly a year ago the Wuhan government first reported a pneumonia outbreak of an unknown origin. Less than a month later, the central Chinese city of 11 million became the first to completely lock down. Beijing's eventual aggressive measures allowed Wuhan to reopen by mid-April. The city hasn't had a reported COVID-19 case since May. Carson Yu, ABC News, Hong Kong.
Another gain for Netflix. Stock will have the business report with Chris McCusker in 60 seconds.
680 News Time 155.
Give your oven a break this year and cook all your holiday favorites on a Traeger wood pellet grill instead. Fueled by all-natural hardwood pellets, Traeger grills add incredible wood-fired flavor to everything you cook. Traeger's also boasts 6-in-1 versatility that lets you cook everything from roast turkey and grilled veggies to baked cookies and smoked eggnog. Plus, Wi-Fi technology lets you control your grill right from your phone. To learn more and find a dealer near you, visit TraegerGrills.ca/Canada Dealers.
Hi, I'm Sherry Tabb, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. Covered by a mask and unable to touch, we've never needed our eyes more. To see and read, but also to smile, connect, and take the place of a hug. Why let glasses, contacts, and cataracts get in the way? Say I've had it and come to Herzig. Google Herzig Eye Institute. Call us for a consultation. There's no charge. Herzig is prepared. You're protected. Look after yourself. Promise me.
680 News Time 156.
And now the business report. Let's head live to the business center. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Zach, right now we've got a losing session on North American markets with trading somewhat subdued, let's say, in the final trading day of the year. The TSX right now is down 8 points, 17,537. Looking at a gain this year of 3%. Time now for the Express Gold Refining XAU.ca gold price update. Gold higher by about $2 today to $18.95. So gold saw its best year in about a decade, up by 25% in 2020. It was a bumpy year for oil, ending with a loss of 20%. Now, you'll remember it slipped into negative territory at one point this year with a complete collapse in demand because of COVID-19. The start of vaccinations did boost the prospects in the fourth quarter, and prices recovered, but with a new variant of coronavirus emerging, demand could be scaled back in the early part of 2021. Oil right now is down 19 cents, 48.21 a barrel, and the Canadian dollar lower by 5/100, 78.37 cents U.S. Now on Wall Street, the Dow closed at a record yesterday. Right now it's down 23. The S&P off a point, the Nasdaq down 30. The top infectious disease specialist in the U.S. predicts that country won't have COVID-19 under control until August. Carl Shimada is Chief Market Strategist at Cambridge Global Payments.
Markets are assuming that the Biden administration is able to work with its Republican counterparts to keep the stimulus flowing to some degree. And so that remains a risk. If we see, a breakdown in relations between the parties, if we see stimulus sort of withdrawn on a permanent or a pronounced basis, that could mean that markets become overpriced and that we have to see a correction before we really do get things under control.
Now, shares in Netflix up by 2.5% today, higher by 66% this year. The combined number of U.S. subscribers for the largest streaming platforms are up 50% from this time last year. So in other words, proof that streaming services are one of the big winners of the pandemic. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
The Canadian film and TV industry recognizes it's time to build a better workforce, which includes more opportunities for Black, Indigenous, and persons of color. HireByPOC.com is here to help make this happen. Whether you're already in the business, trying to get a start, or in a position to hire, HireByPOC.com can connect you to the right people. From script to development, production to post, distribution to marketing, HireByPOC.com. HireBIPOC.com. Help build a stronger industry together.
Hey, I'm thinking of getting a new Ford Ranger. What do you think? I think adventure waits for no one. What you do defines you, not what you don't. It's time to take action, to really live, so live.
Whoa, convincing.
Now is a great time to get into a new Ford during the Ford year-end event. Get up to $3,500 in rebates on most new 2020 Ranger models, with features like available FX4 off-road package with terrain management system. Contact your Toronto Ford dealer or visit Ford.ca.
We'll get you home with the best local traffic reports on the ones on 680 News.
Right now in downtown Toronto, it's 2 degrees, feeling like -2 though, and overcast. Our editor is Colin Robertson. Lucas Castellanos at the digital desk, and it's 2 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news. Traffic. This is 680 News, Toronto.
It's Thursday, December 31st. Good afternoon. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Zach Bovenstein. Good afternoon. Here's what's making news right now.
Ontario's finance minister is resigning hours after landing at Pearson from an overseas vacation amid a province-wide lockdown.
Over 3,000 new cases of COVID-19 reported in Ontario. More on today's record-breaking figures and what they mean straight ahead.
Toronto businesses dealing with the unknown, the city hinting at more restrictions on the way next week, while the federal government tightens the rules on international air travel. From making masks mandatory to tightening up restrictions, I speak to the mayor and chief medical officer of health about some of their more difficult decisions in 2020 and harsh criticisms that came with it.
The Raptors will close out the year against the New York Knicks, while Team Canada closes out the year against Finland, looking to remain unbeaten at the World Junior Sports at 15.
North American markets very likely to end a winning year with a losing session, but Tesla goes out with a bang. Business at 26.
This is 201. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones first off the traffic center. Is our very own Carrie Prunskis.
And we still have a problem northbound on the 400 north of King Road. The right lane remains closed, and this is for vehicle fire cleanup. Traffic is jammed on the northbound 400 from the King City en route to north of King Road. At least a 3-kilometer backup getting through that stretch. As for the alternate routes, they're all moving well. You can try Jane or Weston. Both are in good shape. Now we have a new problem on the eastbound QEW. It's on the ramp to Appleby. The right lane is blocked because of a stalled transport truck. So be careful taking that ramp. There's no delay at all. Again, that's eastbound QEW going to Appleby. Watch out for this too. It's right as you come around that bend. Eastbound Lakeshore at Jameson, that collision has cleared. So we're in good shape on that route. The eastbound Gardner moving very well heading into downtown. And another problem cleared westbound on St. Clair at Runnymede. All lanes now reopened. Your next traffic report is at 2:11. Now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
A rather calm day here in the Weather Center, and the temperatures are only headed up to +3, which is still fairly above normal. We should be at -1 for this time of year, so +3 feels quite mild. We will drop down to -6 tonight with a little bit of clearing, as we will also have a wind chill around -9 when you factor in the wind. Right now it's +1 at Pearson, and at 680 News, our guaranteed high is +3.
680 News Time, 2:02.
Breaking news from the province. Say goodbye to 2020 and to Ontario's finance minister. In a statement, Premier Doug Ford says he has accepted the resignation of Rod Phillips after his ill-timed lockdown-era vacation to the Caribbean.
680's Michelle Morton now joins us live with the latest. Michelle.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's accepting his finance minister's resignation after Rod Phillips took a trip to St. Bart's on December 13th, despite provincial guidelines urging people to avoid non-essential travel. The trip has sparked criticism, seeing opposition parties calling for Phillips to resign. Ford says in a statement, at a time when the people of Ontario have sacrificed so much, today's resignation is a demonstration that our government takes seriously our obligation to hold ourselves to a higher standard. This comes hours after Phillips landed at Pearson from his controversial trip, saying he'd like to stay on as minister and regrets making the decision to go.
Obviously, I made a significant error in judgment, and I will be accountable for that. I do not make any excuses for the fact that I traveled when we shouldn't have traveled. And I think, the one thing that I hope is that I'll be able to regain the confidence of the people of Ontario. I think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and I would like to be a part of that.
Ford says Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy will assume the role of Minister of Finance and deliver the government's 2021 budget. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Morton.
We now go to our political affairs specialist, John Stahl, for more on the Phillips resignation.
Well, the Premier really didn't have much choice if he wanted to maintain any amount of credibility. He couldn't just continue to talk the talk about being angry and disappointed in his finance minister. He had to walk the walk and take the direct and drastic action he did today to send the signal that this kind of behavior in his government is unacceptable.
Ford says that he was aware of the trip 2 weeks ago.
680 News Time, 2:04. It's a single-day new record for COVID-19 cases in Ontario, soaring past the 3,000 mark, while the province also reporting 56 deaths. Toronto led the way in cases with 888. Peel and York regions are both in the 400s. Here's 680's Adam Steinberg.
3,328 cases of COVID-19. This is the first time Ontario has cracked the 3,000 mark, the third straight day of record-breaking numbers. The amount of tests conducted in the last 24 hours also noteworthy at nearly 64,000. The positivity rate of those tests is 5.7%. Now, shifting gears to deaths, another 56 are being reported today, bringing Ontario's death toll to 4,530. And our healthcare system feeling the added pressure as well, seeing a record 45 patients being admitted to the ICU, yet another single-day record. I'm Adam Steinberg.
Canada will be ringing in 2021 with stricter pandemic restrictions as Ontario reports that new one-day record for COVID cases. 680's Stuart McGinn has more on the action being taken by the city and federal government.
The measures only hinted at by Dr. Eileen de Villa, as she said further local restrictions for businesses and workplaces will be announced early next week. What those measures might be is the big question, but the president of the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Areas, Maureen Sirois, hopes it doesn't leave local businesses with a bigger hole to climb out of.
There shouldn't be inequity in Toronto. Everything should be on a level playing field for all businesses so that customers don't necessarily go to outer jurisdictions to shop because they can't shop in Toronto.
There are calls for a consistent approach to let businesses safely serve customers under strict capacity limits. Sirois says it's the constant adjustments that have left so many struggling to adapt. These coming measures, not the only ones ushering in the early days of 2021. The federal government's moving to further clamp down on international air travel, soon requiring passengers to provide a negative COVID-19 test before flying into the country, and also stepping up messaging and enforcement on the 14-day quarantine. I'm Stuart McGinn.
Well, it was a year like no other that saw us face restrictions like never before. In its continuing year-end look back with Mayor Tory and Dr. Eileen de Villa, 680's Momin Qureshi speaks to them about some key decisions that they had to make this year and the fallout that came with it.
From making wearing masks mandatory in public spaces to tightening up restrictions, Dr. Eileen DeVilla, the city's chief medical officer of health, tells me each decision was difficult, but it was made with the best available science and with protecting people's health and the healthcare system in mind.
Every decision we took certainly did weigh those considerations, and I don't think that there is any such thing as perfection, but we certainly did give lots of thought, lots of consideration to all the risks and benefits.
But it also came with its fair share of harsh criticisms, and although lockdown orders came from the province, Mayor Tory did and does support those measures.
I feel very, very badly about what happened to and has happened to restaurants and to smaller businesses, but I think that was a necessary price that had to be paid in order to wipe this virus out. And I am comforted in part by this. Every other major global city in the world, all the ones we would look at and compare ourselves to in terms of best practices, have had to do the same thing.
Tory says helping many of those businesses recover is a key focus of 2021. I'm Momin Karachi.
Stateside, the National Guard sending help to Los Angeles County to assist with the bodies from the COVID-19 crush. 274 new deaths reported today in LA County alone. Now police are pleading with people not to gather for New Year's Eve parties tonight.
It's illegal in LA County right now to have any size gathering, but there are lots of underground parties planned in areas like Hollywood. LAPD Chief Michael Moore saying his teams have been tracking social media invites and will be responding to New Year's Eve party calls to break them up.
We'll be out on both New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with heavy deployments. We'll have aggressive patrol.
LA has been dealing with an intense surge in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths since Thanksgiving, and numbers are still hitting record highs. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, no parties or get-togethers this New Year's Eve, but there's something to watch tonight. Team Canada faces its biggest challenge in the World Junior Hockey Championship. Here's Sportsnet 590 The Fan's Colin Teskey.
Team Canada will face the Finns as we wrap up 2020 at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Usually New Year's Eve was saved for a more traditional rival like the U.S., but this year Canada will face a formidable Finnish squad who boasts 16-year-old Brad Lambert, who many scouts predict could be one of the top picks in the 2022 NHL entry draft. And they also boast this year's first-round pick of the Florida Panthers, Anton Lundell. Both teams look for the top seed in Group A and will put their undefeated records on the line. Puck drops at 6 p.m. Eastern Time from Edmonton. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Colin Teskey.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price of the pumps.
680 News Time, 2:09.
Happy New Year.
From 680 News.
Being a new mom isn't easy, but hugging's easy. Loving's easy. And baby D drops are easy too. Simply apply just one drop where baby feeds. There's no taste, so it doesn't interfere with feeding. Pediatricians recommend vitamin D daily for breastfed infants. Baby D drops, the sunshine vitamin in just one drop.
Now the 680 News gas price update, and for predicting the price of gas will go up at midnight to $7.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather is next. 680 News
Go extra rounds. 2001 Audio Video's biggest and best boxing meet sale. There's still inventory reduced to the absolute lowest price ever. From wireless and audio products to 4K smart TVs with 2-year warranty, many below cost. 2001 with the guaranteed lowest boxing meet price. Shop online or phone for curbside pickup. 2001 fans are fired up because January 13th, the Leafs are back on Sportsnet. And this season is on. What do the fans say?
Brody, Bogosian, Simmons. He just got tough.
You might even say truculent.
We got Jumbo Joe.
When you hear what they think about their rivals,
The price is wrong.
there's no love lost between some rivals.
Battle of Ontario, it's on.
It's on Sportsnet. Puck drops January 13th. Sportsnet.
680 News Time, 211. Traffic and weather together on the ones checking your drive. It's Gary Prunskis.
We have a slow go on the northbound 400 just north of King Road. The right lane is closed, and this is for vehicle fire cleanup. So traffic is jammed for about 3.5 kilometers. It's heavy northbound 400 from the King City on-ramp to north of King Road. And we have a new problem now on the northbound 427 on the ramp to the eastbound 401. The right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle. So just watch out for that. I'm not really seeing much of a delay. Another problem eastbound on the QEW on the ramp to Appleby. The right lane is blocked, and that is due to a stalled transport truck. Emergency crews are now on the scene, drawing a little more attention to that. So just be careful eastbound QEW as you take the ramp to Appleby. Westbound on the QEW, that's getting busy from the Ford plant to Trafalgar. But a good drive right now on the DVP. The 401 is lightly traveled in both directions. Now, here's a new one on city streets in Mississauga. Peel police are reporting a dangerous condition on Matheson, east of Dixie at Explorer. Reports of an angry turkey in the road blocking traffic and pecking cars. Not making this up. That just came from a Peel Regional Police tweet. So be careful in that area as well. That's Matheson, east of Dixie at Explorer. Your next traffic report is at 2:21. Now with the forecast, here's a turkey, Carl Lamb.
Hey there. That turkey is embodying 2020. As we close out the year. Temperatures headed up to 3 degrees today. That's our guaranteed high. And it is mainly an overcast day. We will see a little bit of sunshine trying to break through in the east end. And then we drop down to -6 tonight. Tomorrow is a really different story. We have dry conditions. 2 degrees will be the high. And then we have really a big system on the way that could bring some ice pellets for a prolonged period of time, a period of freezing rain for areas northwest and also west of the city. So from Shelburne out towards Kitchener-Waterloo, that's where some of that icing could happen, but also rain and snow for us here in downtown and along the Golden Horseshoe, but snow for areas further north. It is certainly going to be an active Friday night across the GTA. Right now it is 1 at Pearson, 1 at 680 News, and our guaranteed high is 3.
680 News time, 2:13.
It's time for the Dynamic Fund Market Minute live at the Business Center. Chris McCusker.
Yeah, no turkeys on markets, just for the record. So the Dow closed at a record yesterday, and right now it's up by 23. We could see another all-time high to close out the year. The S&P down a point, the NASDAQ lower by 30, and the TSX is down by 6 to 17,539. Now gold today higher by $2, $18.95. Up by 25% this year, the best annual performance for gold in about a decade. Oil today down 22 cents to 48.18, and the Canadian dollar lower by 3/100, 78.39 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
The greatest investment tip ever? Start building a plan with a financial advisor today. Learn more about the value of advice at dynamic.ca/advice.
Oh, marvelous sleep. Oh, marvelous sleep. Marvelous sleep. Drool on the sheet. Sleep. Dangle your feet. Get snooze on repeat.
Boxing Week is now extended. Now's your last chance to get marvelous deals on our biggest brands. But hurry, it all ends Tuesday. Only at Sleep Country. Sleep well, stay well. Sleep Country.
Hi, I'm Stuart Rudner, and the team at Rudner Law would like to wish you all the best for the holidays. We know this has been a challenging year, and we want to help you start 2021 on the right track by ensuring that your legal rights are protected. Give yourself a gift and get the advice you need. These are uncertain times. If you think you might need an employment lawyer, you probably do.
HR lawyers, employment lawyers, workplace lawyers, whatever you call them, you'll be glad you did. RudnerLaw.ca.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast and 2 degrees, feeling like -2 in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon, I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Zach Bodenstein. Here are the top stories right now.
Hindsight is 2020, but Rod Phillips will have to look for another job in 2021. In a statement, Premier Doug Ford says he has accepted the now former finance minister's resignation today after Phillips took an ill-timed vacation to the Caribbean while Canadians were asked to avoid all non-essential travel due to the pandemic. Phillips landed at Pearson this morning. Pickering Uxbridge rep Peter Bethlen-Falvey will fill in as interim finance minister.
Yet another record shattered by Ontario, which reported 3,328 new cases of COVID-19. The first time that number has topped 3,000. Toronto saw 888 new cases, while Peel had 413, and York Region reported 419.
New Year's like no other. A reminder that TTC and Go are not offering free rides tonight like they have in recent years, as not to encourage anyone to head out. The LCBO and Beer Store store closes tonight at 6 o'clock, while some bars and restaurants offering takeout will be offering booze pickups until 11 tonight.
For these stories and more, head to 680news.com.
Now, 680 Sports, let's head to Sportsnet 590 to fan Colin Teskey.
In what's been a bizarre year, the Raptors will come into their matchup on New Year's Eve looking up at the upstart New York Knicks. After 3 straight losses, Toronto enters their matchup 1.5 games back of New York, and the Knicks are led by Mississauga native R.J. Barrett, who's coming into his own in his second full NBA season. The former Duke Blue Devil is averaging just over 16 points per game. Raptors and Knicks will tip at 7:30 on Sportsnet. Meantime, at the World Juniors, Canada puts their undefeated record on the line against Finland, both teams vying for the top spot in Group A. They'll battle at 6 p.m. from Edmonton, and before that, the Czech Republic will face Austria in Group B action starting at 2 o'clock. The Cleveland Browns closed their practice facility today after 2 more players tested positive for COVID-19. The Browns need a win on Sunday to get into the postseason, and with a playoff berth on the line this weekend for the Miami Dolphins, they have named rookie Tua Tagovailoa their starting quarterback for Buffalo. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time at 2:18.
You need a loan, but you don't want to go to the bank. So go to H. Williams Pawnbrokers. Yes, it's a place to buy and sell, but it's also a place to borrow money like a bank, but at a low rate that's not compounded. Bring in your valuables. H. Williams gives you money and locks them in their vault. Pay your loan back, get your stuff back. They're licensed and have been loaning money for over 70 years. Go see them in their safe environment. H. Williams Pawnbrokers. Look for the big red pawnbroker sign, 145 Church Street, north of Queen.
Well, it's time to pack up 2020 and send it on its way. Some say it can't happen soon enough. That's why your Ontario Subaru dealer is beginning the new year in the best way possible. A whole week early. Yay! So hurry to the Unboxing Week event and drive away in a brand new 2021 Subaru right now, along with a special $500 bonus because, gosh darn it, we all deserve it this year. The Unboxing Week event on now until January 4th. Happy New 2021 from Subaru.
680 News Time, 2:19.
Government officials in Houston, Texas, warning residents to cancel their gatherings as COVID-19 cases surge in the region.
Despite the dire warning, several Houston nightclubs have posted flyers suggesting that they intend to host large New Year's Eve parties. Among the uninvited guests,
it's pretty much going to be an all-hands-on-deck situation for our enforcement agents.
Chris Porter of the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission says Houston isn't alone.
We do have hundreds stationed across the state, and they will be on the streets conducting patrols, conducting inspections, and responding to concerns from citizens.
Texas has lost nearly 27,000 people to COVID. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
To the UK, which has signed a post-Brexit deal, a trade deal rather, with the EU. Parliament overwhelmingly voting in favor of the deal yesterday, but as we hear from CNN's Salma Abdelaziz, there's still plenty of uncertainty among Brits.
You now no longer have the freedom of movement. So now that means, of course, British citizens will have to get visas if they want to work, travel, or study in the EU. They'll have to stand in a different passport line, the non-EU line. So that could potentially cause some queues, some confusion, some chaos at places like the Eurostar when people are trying to board their planes to go to France. And of course, most critically, we're going to see businesses and families trying to figure out these new rules, these new restrictions. Now, one of the criticisms of this trade deal is that there's very little about the services industry, which makes up about 80% of the British economy.
The deal reached on Christmas Eve means the UK and EU can trade without the need for additional taxes. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds, 680 News Time, 2:20.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
At ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
680 News Time, 221.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Gary Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive Drive Sober. Just seeing police westbound on the 401 heading towards the 427, so we may have a new problem there. They're on the left shoulder. Be careful through this stretch. It's getting backed up on the westbound 401 from Kipling to approaching the 427. Northbound on the 427 on the ramp to the eastbound 401, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle, so watch out for that. Not too bad in terms of delays. Up at the top end, the northbound 427 is busy on the ramp to Highway 7 as you head into the long-term construction area. Northbound on the 400, north of King Road, that problem just cleared. It was a vehicle fire cleanup, but that's all wrapped up now. So these delays are gradually improving, but it's still busy on the northbound 400 from north of the King City en route to just north of King Road. Westbound on the Gardner QEW combination, just a minor delay from the Ford Plan to Trafalgar. Seems to be easing off pretty quickly though. And eastbound on the QEW on the ramp to Appleby, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled transport truck, but no delay there. No matter where or how you are safely celebrating, always plan a safe ride. Please drink responsibly. smartsurf.ca/holiday guide. And now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Today are only headed up to +3, but that's still milder than where we should be for this time of year. And we have temperatures falling tonight. With the passage of a cold front down to -6, it will feel like -9 when you factor in the wind. Tomorrow, 2 degrees will be the high. It is a dry start to the day. We'll even see a little bit of sunshine. And then we have a big system coming our way that's going to bring all the types of precipitation, pretty much everything. We'll have a little bit of ice pellet action and then some freezing rain concerns as we head into the early evening. And then it changes over to a rain-snow mix for us here by the lake, and then snow for areas further north tomorrow. And then we'll drop down to 0 on Friday night, and then 3 degrees on Saturday with some morning snow showers drying out by the afternoon. Right now, 1 at Pearson, 2 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high is 3.
680 News Time, 223.
Pay homage to India's rich cultural history with a culinary experience from Bindia Indian Bistro, a family-owned and operated restaurant located across from historic St. Lawrence Market. Bindia sources the freshest cuts of meat from their butchers to create your favorite Indian dishes. Order today and experience why Bindia Indian Bistro is a TripAdvisor Hall of Fame member. Bindia Indian Bistro, the essence of India through fresh, quality ingredients. Get 10% off your takeout order today when you book through bindia.ca. Happy New Year!
From 680 News. In Sydney, it was a spectacular fireworks show that went off in the harbour at midnight, but Australians were encouraged to stay home and watch them on TV here in Toronto. Here in Toronto, of course, we're being told to do the same. The party at Nathan Phillips Square is cancelled, but you can take in a CN Tower light show. That'll be streamed tonight on the City of Toronto's YouTube page. The Nature Conservancy of Canada says the best way to get rid of your Christmas tree this season, put it in your backyard. Spokesperson Andrew Holland saying putting your tree out in the yard can provide shelter for birds on stormy winter nights and offer a better alternative to throwing your tree out in the trash.
In a lot of places in Canada, your Christmas trees just end up in the landfill. And that's not really good because they catch fire and produce, gas. It's just not good for the environment. By throwing the Christmas tree out in the backyard, it's a way to provide some warmth and shelter for birds.
And he says you can decorate your backyard trees with strings of peanuts and suet so birds can have a snack while they seek refuge from the cold. Coming up in 60 seconds, shares in Tesla go where they've never gone before. Chris McCusker with the details in the business report next.
680 News Time, 225.
Do you have unfiled taxes? Are you overwhelmed and stressed? Boxes of paper, lost documents, disorganized, confused, don't know where to start? We do. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants. We deal with this every day. It's never too late. Start sleeping at night. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants now or visit markfeldstein.ca. markfeldstein.ca.
License 10349.
You've been sentenced to the death penalty. You're getting killed by debt. So count on Northwood Mortgage to be your unwavering champion, making the case and setting you free financially. Carefully restructuring your debt so you pay thousands less in interest and have more money each month. Northwood Mortgage. Go to northwoodmortgage.com. Enjoy life. Escape debt.
We're working harder for you.
680 News Time, 226 now the business report. We go live to the business center. It's Chris McCusker.
And Scott, we've got a mixed picture right now on markets. But it's been a winning year in North America, and yes, a wild ride at times. So the TSX right now is down 10 points, 17,535, up by about 3% this year. The Dow could close at a record again today. We saw this yesterday. Right now it's up by 63. The S&P is higher by 2. And the NASDAQ down 16. And it looks like the NASDAQ is going to be the big winner in North America this year. Potentially a gain of 43%. Carl Shimada is Chief Market Strategist at Cambridge Global Payments. Now, Carl, looking back to March, when COVID-19 took hold in North America, would you have expected to see gains on markets by the end of the year?
I think yes. The overall expectation here is that you're looking at a hugely broad-based and sustained rebound, and that is based on the fact that you have employment coming back,
someone has to move up. Okay.
Central banks and governments
everybody's coming in early because it's New Year's
than ever before in history. So that does suggest that you're going to see asset prices rise. Doesn't mean that the economy itself is in great shape, but it certainly means that if you're invested in stock markets, that you're going to see some gains.
Now, another all-time high for shares in Tesla today, 718.72. So if you're keeping track at home, year to date now, the stock is up 754%. The electric car maker has reported 5 straight quarters of profit going back to 2019. Tesla stock was moved to the S&P 500 earlier this month after that stock split in August. Gold today higher by $2, $18.95, so it closed up by 25% this year. Oil was down 22 cents, $48.18, and the Canadian dollar right now is higher by $3,178.45 cents US. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Hi, I'm Adam, founder of newborrow.com, and I started our company after I got fed up with.
You got fed up.
Le gars, il va avoir entre 5 et 10 admettons. Non, moi, je me méfie toujours de ceux qui ont des bien arrêtés, poids, taille, mensuration. Non, le monde se plaint qu'ils sont tout seuls, sauf que dire non, fumeur, sportif, mais tu enlèves une coupe d'affaires, peut-être que le gars qui tente ta chance un peu. Peut-être qu'il fume 3-4 cigarettes par jour, mais il va prendre ben heureux. Je suis avec un acteur, moi, et je me souviens de t'avoir appelé en disant il sort de chez nous, il porte des craques. Oui, je suis pas capable.
Canadian forces were issued 4 cigarettes per meal to 3 members per day, 12 cigarettes a day in World War II.
Je m'en souviens que c'était hier.
Yeah, people that won that war.
Oui, t'as bien fait. Tu m'avais dit que tu avais ri de tes chandails. Tu pensais que c'était un costume de production. Tu avais dit, le bon père, je suis quasiment dans une vidéo, il y avait des jaune d'arbre. Oui, c'est mon chandail. Oui, c'est mon chandail. Ah bon, ok, correct. Oui, j'avais dit, est-ce que la costumière, là, as-tu quelque chose contre toi? C'est pas possible de mettre ce gilet-là sur le dos. C'est à moi.
Mais pourtant, tu sais, un acteur, c'est ça, tu n'auras pas connu ça, mais un acteur de téléroman que beaucoup de femmes regardent, aiment, on le dit, le mot, c'est fantasme. Et moi, ça m'est arrivé, là, d'une madame en Estrie qui me dit, en tout cas, quand vous en voudrez plus.
C'est formidable.
Oui, elle est amoureuse de lui.
Mais tu sais, moi, j'ai joué dans La Petite Vie avec Claude Meunier, Marc Messier, Serge Thériault. On sortait du studio. Ça, je te jure, c'est vrai, les gars avaient des numéros de téléphone en dessous de nos essuie-glaces. C'était comme ça.
Ça arrive pas aux filles, ça.
Jamais. Les gars, ils riaient. Ils trouvaient ça drôle. Moi, là, mais c'est pas possible. Ça veut dire qu'il y a des filles là, qui pensent on va aller assister à un enregistrement de La Petite Vie, puis on va laisser notre nom et notre numéro de téléphone. Et mon Dieu, non, ça arrive pas. C'est sûr que ça arrive pas aux filles. Mais ça déclenchait de grandes passions. Parce qu'une fille, plus t'es connue, moins tu pognes.
Ben oui.
Ça, c'est.
Ben oui.
Toutes les filles.
Les filles, quand quelqu'un te trouve quelque chose, il y a toujours un petit quelque chose d'étrange.
Ben, ça. Hey, mais moi, je pense à quelque chose, je sais pas si c'est hors sujet, là, mais le contraire de haute inflation.
427, the left lane is blocked because of a collision. Emergency crews are on the scene, and it's slow go westbound on the 401, backed up from Kipling to approaching the 427. Northbound on the 427 on the ramp to the eastbound 401, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle, so be careful there. There's no delay. Past that, northbound 427 bunches up as you take the ramp to Highway 7. Northbound 400, a reminder that problems north of King Road, they've cleared away. Not seeing any delays anymore on the northbound 400. Looks good through King Road. Eastbound on the QEW on the ramp to Appleby, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled transport truck. There is a heavy tow on the scene and no delay here, so just watch out for that eastbound QEW on the ramp to Appleby. Unwrap more with the Rogers Wrapped in Red event. Get a free Samsung Galaxy Tab A on select 2-year plans. Visit Rogers at Centerpoint Mall or uptownwireless.ca for details. And now with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, temperatures today are headed up to 3 degrees. That's our guaranteed high. We are seeing a few breaks in the clouds out towards the west end at this point. But otherwise, as we look across the city, it is just a mainly cloudy day across. So GTA staying mainly dry as well. We drop down to -6 tonight. It will feel like -9 when you factor in a lighter wind than what we've been dealing with over the past few days. Right now, it's 1 at Pearson, 2 degrees downtown. Our guaranteed high is 3.
680 News Time, 2:32.
Breaking news from the Ford government. Finance Minister Ron Phillips has announced his resignation from the role, and the Premier has already named his replacement for now.
We go live to our Michelle Ward, who's following the story and joins us with more. Michelle.
Premier Doug Ford says following his conversation with Ron Phillips, he's accepted his resignation as Ontario's Minister of Finance. Ford says in a statement, at a time when the people of Ontario have sacrificed so much, today's resignation is a demonstration that our government takes seriously our obligation to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Phillips landed at Pearson this morning after taking a controversial holiday in St. Bart's on December 13th, where he says he wanted to stay on as minister.
It was a significant error in judgment, a dumb mistake. And again, I apologize for it. I regret it. But all I can do now is make that apology and move forward.
Phillips says he'll be continuing his efforts in serving the people of Ajax as their member of provincial parliament. Ford says he's asked Minister Peter Bethlen-Mulvey to assume the role of Minister of Finance and deliver the government's 2021 budget. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Morton.
And now let's go to our political affairs analyst, John Stahl, for more on Phillips stepping down from the finance minister position.
Well, just like the prime minister had cut bait with his finance minister because dealing with the continuous fallout of their actions is just too much of a distraction to the credibility of the government trying desperately to cope with this COVID management. There's just no way the premier could continue to justify the action of Mr. Phillips without sending a signal that it's okay for some elected officials, especially the second highest elected official in the province, to do things that he's begging and pleading and ordering the rest of Ontarians to do.
Ford says he should have asked Phillips to immediately return to Ontario, but he didn't, calling that a mistake.
A grim pandemic milestone for
That's an easy one to let slip your mind.
To ring in 2021 with new cases of COVID-19 topping the 3,000 mark. It comes a day after Toronto's top doctor warned we would see a prolonged period of unsettling numbers. 680's Adam Steinberg breaks it down.
There are 2 records to report today. Let's start with the case count at 3,328. With nearly 64,000 tests completed, the positivity rate shifts today at just over 5.5%. Now let's take a deeper dive into today's hospitalization stats. The number of patients admitted to ICU also record-setting at 45. And the number of 56 fatalities also being announced today, raising Ontario's death toll to 4,530. And a quick regional breakdown. Toronto accounting for 888 cases, followed by Peel at 431, and New York Region at 418. On that, Steinberg.
680 News Time, 2:35. Canada is expected to kick off the new year with stricter pandemic restrictions from Toronto and the federal government. 680 Stuart McGinn joins us with more. Restrictions for local businesses are coming. We just don't know what they are. Dr. Eileen DeVilla saying the announcement will take place early next week. Maureen Sirois is the president of the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Areas and tells me what businesses want has been the same through the weeks of changing restrictions.
We are still advocating for that kind of model where we could serve our customers safely in our stores without being fully locked down. It really ruined the Christmas season for many, many retailers.
So the commercial areas with no clarity on what might be ahead. She only hopes the playing field can be leveled out. That's what's happening locally. Well, nationally, in the early days of 2021 will welcome new restrictions for international air travelers while upping measures to educate and enforce the 14-day quarantine. Canada will also soon require those flying into the country to produce a negative COVID-19 test 72 hours before their flight. I'm Stuart McGinn.
680 News Time 2:36. The mayor and the chief medical officer of health are standing by with some of the more difficult decisions that had to be made over the past year, despite the pushback from many. 680's Momin Qureshi with the details.
Dr. Eileen DeVilla, the city's chief medical officer of health, has been tasked with making some of the most difficult decisions in this pandemic, from making masks mandatory to tightening up restrictions. But some harsh criticism has come her way as a result. But she says all the choices were done with the goal of keeping people healthy.
We were really seeking to minimize the loss of life and to mitigate the negative impact of COVID-19, to preserve the healthcare system, and to minimize the broader health and social impacts associated with COVID-19.
Any lockdown orders came from the province, and although they did result in some small businesses suffering major losses or even shutting down, Mayor Tory stands by it.
What I don't do is back away from my strong support for the Premier and his government with respect to measures that impacted upon business.
Tory maintains the lockdowns were the right thing to do. I'm Momin Qureshi.
This is 680 News. It's 2:37. A two-alarm house fire near Eglinton and Oakwood Avenue has just turned fatal. Emergency crews were called to Clovelly Avenue just before 10 last night. Acting Fire Chief Jim Jessup says the victim was found during their initial searches, while another person was treated on scene for smoke inhalation. The Ontario Fire Marshal now investigating the cause. The Toronto Raptors' quest for a win continues in Tampa. Florida Sportsnet 5 Advanced Contest gives a preview of tonight's action against the Knicks.
If you want another glimpse into the strange year of 2020, look no further than tonight's matchup between the Raptors and the New York Knicks. Toronto comes in winless to start the year with 3 straight losses and are looking up at the upstart Knicks in the NBA standings. New York has benefited from Mississauga native R.J. Barrett coming into his own in his second full NBA season. Barrett comes in averaging just over 16 points per game. And it is early in the NBA season, but the Raptors look to get back in the win column to kick off 2021 tonight at 7:30 on Sportsnet. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Colin Teskey.
680 News Time, 2:39.
680 News.
Year in review.
Brought to you by the Chesterfield Shop.
This is Jamie Pulper with a look back at Monday, October 5th. U.S. President Donald Trump, infected with COVID, returns to the White House after being hospitalized with the virus. He climbs the steps, takes off his mask in front of live TV cameras, walks inside, putting those around him at risk, and then downplays the whole thing.
Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know.
The play-by-play from MSNBC.
This is a Mussolini moment. Donald Trump looks like he has makeup on, which means somebody had to get close enough to make up his face with his favorite orange patina.
Triggering this rant from CNN's Chris Cuomo.
You want a metaphor? You've got a president who is a drunk driver who is pushing others to drive drunk.
And then this.
The vaccines are coming momentarily.
And just over a month later, we learned about the success of the Pfizer vaccine, then Moderna, then AstraZeneca, all after the presidential election. With the year in review, I'm Jamie Pulper.
We'll check gas prices next. 680 News Time, 2:40.
The holiday season always makes us feel better. So let's keep that healthy attitude going.
Based on a bacterial virus or something. So this vaccine can cause all sorts of crazy things to happen.
Healthy foods, supplements, sports, and beauty products. Now save 30% on the entire line of New Chapter supplements. And pick up 2 packs of cloth masks for kids, now for just $9.99. Visit one of Healthy Planet's 29 Canadian family-owned locations near you. Or healthyplanet.com.
And now the 680 News gas price update and process is going up to $1.07.9 a liter. Traffic and weather next. 680 News Time at 2:40.
Your roof sprung a leak, water came through, shorted out the furnace, the radiator too.
When stuff happens and you need money now, I mean right now, go to Prudent Financial.
On est chanceux.
Et tôt ce soir, mon cœur fait son apprentissage.
Covered by a mask and unable to touch could be dealt with and provided with an hour consultation and providing that person with the tools, online tools, and
long way to boosting people's morale, getting through these dark days. There's no question, Arlene, I would much prefer that today, New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, we would see that the statistics on new COVID cases were going down, that we didn't have this scandal at the provincial level, that in fact things were turning around and people would feel great. Tomorrow's New Year's Day, we're headed down a better road, and we will be headed down a better road. I don't think there's any doubt about it, but
right now we're here. I want to ask you a question, and it's not an easy one here. Is honestly, our elected officials in the province, are they nervous? Is everyone saying, "Oh, did I do the right thing? Did I have another one over and I shouldn't have?" And this, that, and the other. Has this changed the dynamic?
All these people got into politics looking at the history of this country.
And what is good optics here? Has this driven a nail in the wall?
Really don't know anything about.
咁個難嘅時間，可能都仲有好多好事喎。
It's WBEN out of Buffalo. I can almost pick it up. Oh, that would drive me insane. Almost pick it up.
Across the GTA, +3 is a guaranteed high, -6 is the low tonight. It will feel like -9 with the wind as we head into tomorrow. 2 degrees will be the high. It is a dry start to the day with even a little bit of sunshine, but the clouds will start to roll in, and then we're watching this storm system that is making its way through. It is going to bring potentially up to 5 millimeters of ice buildup for areas northwest and then west of the city. So from Shelburne back towards areas like Kitchener-Waterloo, that is the area for heightened awareness of this potential glaze. It makes roads really, really slick, but everyone else will be dealing with ice pellets, and then the transition to rain and snow for areas closer to the lake, snow for areas further north, and then we get to Friday night, and then it changes all over to snow. Right now it's 1 at Pearson, 2 downtown. Our guarantee high is 3.
680 News Time, 244. And now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Let's go live to the Business Center. Here's Chris McCusker.
And while we quietly celebrate the holidays,
Right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. Good news, problems on the 400 northbound at King Road. That vehicle fire all cleaned up. All lanes have been reopened. Forget 2020, making a truly happy 2021 at your local Subaru dealer. Enjoy a special $500 bonus during Unboxing Week event on now until January 4th. I'm Lori Turkoff with Global News Radio 640 Toronto. Chopper traffic.
This Boxing Week, unwrap more with Rogers.
Oh, right.
More savings with all our best phones and
I'm the 1010. Oh,
anyone in need. Because at one time or another, everyone needs an army.
Health insurance, safe and
everyone needs an army. You're right, but you're wrong.
Hi, Steve here from the Chesterfield shop.
And Pam too.
My family has had the privilege of serving this great community since 1948, and I'm sad to say that our famous in-store Boxing Week sale will be postponed for the first time in over 72 years.
We hope that all of our 5 great locations will soon be open, and believe me, you'll be happy that you waited.
Chesterfield shop, your leather superstar.
Or go online to thechesterfieldshop.com or call us for a virtual tour of our great stores.
Shop Bowery's Boxing Day sale.
I find these things
One huge
over the road.
warehouse location at 95
It's still got a little bit of blue
It's
paint
the greatest
in the
sale of
lower
the
right
season.
corner.
Open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and until 6 p.m. on December 31st. Amazing savings of up to 90% off. Save on all the beautiful things you love, from tableware and home decor to furniture and Canada's largest and best assortment of Christmas trim and decor. Don't miss the European food market with amazing delicacies. Bowery, always beautiful, always affordable.
This is all News Radio. 680 News.
It's overcast in downtown Toronto. 2 degrees feels like -3. Good afternoon. I'm Zach Bodenstein.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here's the top stories right now.
Finance Minister Ron Phillips has resigned after his non-essential trip to the Caribbean. The Premier making the announcement this afternoon. Peter Bethenfalvey will fill the position. Phillips, though, will remain as MPP for Ajax. The last day of 2020 is a record-breaking one for COVID-19 numbers and deaths in the province. 3,328 infections. Toronto leading the way with 888. Peel and York regions also reporting over 400 cases and 56 deaths related to the virus, also an all-time high. And still to come, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden will honor COVID-19 victims on the eve of his inauguration. Time for 680 Sports. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Colin Teskey.
They really wanted him to come in, push the players' buttons, make sure that, they're all after the same.
So find him. I understand, Meathead, you're close personal friends now with...
In for Jim Rich.
Yeah, well, it was great.
Welcome, Jim Richardson.
And now it's time for a call-in. This is, I want to have some fun. It's the end of the year. It's New Year's Eve. I want to lighten the mood a little bit. And I can tell you the story about someone who learned a life lesson the hard way. But we want to hear from you. What are the life lessons that you learned? At 2 o'clock, the Cleveland Browns closed their practice facility today after 2 more players tested positive for COVID-19. The Browns need a win on Sunday to get into the postseason. And with a playoff berth on the line this weekend for the Miami Dolphins, they have named rookie Tua Tagovailoa their starting quarterback versus Buffalo. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
Hi, I'm Stuart Rudner, and the team at Rudner Law would like to wish you all the best for the holidays. We know this has been a challenging year, and we want to help you start 2021 on the right track by ensuring that your legal rights are protected. Give yourself a gift and get the advice you need. These are uncertain times. If you think you might need an employment lawyer, you probably do.
HR lawyers, employment lawyers, workplace lawyers, whatever you call them, you'll be glad you did. RudnerLaw.ca.
If cancer were a place, nearly the entire population of Kitchener would be diagnosed every year. Right now, 1 Canadian hears it's cancer every 3 minutes. The researchers funded by the Canadian Cancer Society now know cancer isn't one, but more than 100 different diseases. That's why we fund the geniuses and dreamers researching all cancers. Donate at cancer.ca because empathy is bigger than apathy. Science is bigger than any tumor.
No, it's not. I prefer you were empathetic. You keep pretending you care. That's what I think.
In the U.S., President-elect
I care about
COVID-19 victims on the eve of his inauguration.
President-elect Joe Biden plans to honor those killed by the coronavirus in a lighting ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool on the evening of January 19th, the night before his inauguration. In a statement, the Presidential Inaugural Committee says the event will be the first ever lighting around the reflecting pool to memorialize American lives lost. The inaugural committee is also inviting communities around the country to join in lighting up buildings and ringing church bells at 5:30 p.m. in a national moment of unity and remembrance. Biden and Kamala Harris plan to take their oaths of office outside the U.S. Capitol on January 20th while complying with COVID-19 protocols. Mike Gracia, Washington.
Iran's cabinet has created a compensation fund to pay families impacted by the downing of Ukraine Flight 752. Each family will receive $150,000 for every victim as they prepare to mark the first anniversary on the January 8th crash. And those killed include dozens of Canadian citizens and permanent residents. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says in a statement, our country is among others taking a coordinated approach to obtaining reparations from Iran. We'll check traffic and weather next. 680 News Time 250.
Hi, I'm Sherry Tabb, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. Covered by a mask and unable to touch, we've never needed our eyes more. To see and read, but also to smile, connect, and take the place of a hug. Why let glasses, contacts, and cataracts get in the way? Say I've had it and come to Herzig. Google Herzig Eye Institute. Call us for a consultation. There's no charge. Herzig is prepared. You're protected. Look after yourself. Promise me.
Give your oven a break this year and cook all your holiday favorites on a Traeger wood pellet grill instead. Fueled by all-natural hardwood pellets, Traeger grills add incredible wood-fired flavor to everything you cook. Traeger's also got a 6-in-1 versatility that lets you cook everything from roast turkey and grilled veggies to baked cookies and smoked eggnog. Plus, Wi-Fi technology lets you control your grill right from your phone.
How can you not mark the people with
dealer near you? Visit TraegerGrills.ca/Canada dealers.
680 News Time 251. Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Brunskis.
This report is brought to you by Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. Northbound Don Valley Parkway, it's getting busy from Eglinton to north of Lawrence. Not too bad, though, on the northbound 404. Westbound on the 401, that problem approaching the 427 has cleared. Delays gradually improving. It's still busy from Islington and the Express to approaching the 427, but that should ease off completely in the next 10 minutes or so. Eastbound on the 401, that's lightly traveled, making your way across the GTA. Just noticing a slowdown on the southbound 404 DVP. That's getting pretty heavy from the 401 to York Mills. So I'll check with Toronto Transportation and see if we have a new problem there. On city streets in Brampton, Torbram is closed in both directions between Balmoral and Clark, and that is for a collision investigation. That might be there for a while. Driver went into the pole there and knocked it down, so hydro crews have been dispatched. And watch out for a stalled transport truck on the eastbound QEW ramp to Appleby. That's blocking the right lane, but there's no delay. If you've been injured, Diamond and Diamond is in your corner. See why so many clients have referred their friends and family back to Diamond and Diamond. Call 1-800-567-HURT for your free consultation. And now with the extended forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Well, it is going to be a calm evening across the GTA. Temperatures head up to our guaranteed high of 3 degrees, drop down to -6. We will see a little bit of clearing courtesy of that cold front that's going to sweep through the area. Tomorrow's high, 2 degrees. It is a deceptively calm start to 2021 as we head into the afternoon. The clouds are going to increase, and then the precipitation gets underway. It is going to be ice pellets that we deal with for the Niagara region first, and then it changes over to a period of freezing rain. Still some question marks about whether we do see freezing rain. Just depends on how warm the upper levels of the atmosphere get, and then how cold it is at the surface. Those are kind of the key components needed for freezing rain. And then we will be dealing with a rain-snow mix here in the city, and the areas north of us will be dealing with snow showers. It's mainly northwest and west of the city that we have the concerns for freezing rain with that ice buildup. And then for Saturday, we have morning snow and a high of 3 degrees. We'll start with clouds, and then we'll start to see some sunshine by the afternoon. Right now, it is 1 at Pearson, 2 downtown. Our guaranteed high is 3.
680 News Time 253. Coming up at 3 o'clock, Finance Minister Rod Phillips has resigned from his role. There's a new replacement as well. We'll have all the details.
Wait, how'd you do that fast? Hold on.
Being a new mom isn't easy.
At the top of the hour?
But hugging's easy. Loving's easy. And baby D drops are easy too. Simply apply just 1 drop where baby feeds. There's no taste, so it doesn't interfere with feeding. Pediatricians recommend vitamin D daily for breastfed infants. Baby D drops, the sunshine vitamin in just 1 drop.
News is always changing. Now more than ever.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is 680 News.
Ask to play us on your smart speaker.
A Disney Pixar classic is getting a social media makeover.
What started out as a fun idea TikTok is now a full-blown production. Ratatouille, the TikTok musical, serving up serious star power.
Yes, people, make your own entertainment.
Park, Adam Lambert. But who could play Remy, the rat of all our dreams? Titus Burgess bringing the Ratatouille to life, based on the 2007 Disney Pixar film.
I was like, oh, I guess I should watch the movie.
What else is that one? It's fucked up here for me.
Remember who Remy is, and I didn't realize he was the lead.
Titus starring in the show, accompanied by a 20-piece orchestra with original music, a director, and a choreographer.
Ratatouille, the TikTok musical, will be streaming tomorrow at 7 p.m. for 72 hours. The Dow could close at a record again today. We'll have business with Chris McCusker in 60 seconds. 680 News Time 255.
Here's the funny thing.
Wednesday's best dramas.
Has a tendency to bring out the very best.
Return to City TV.
People who stand steady in a
Chicago Med.
to hold on to each other.
Fire. Miscommunity calls, we respond.
And run into the fear.
PD. Takes a lot of guts. And unfortunately, Chicago Med, Fire, and PD new episodes return January 6th on City TV or stream live and free at citytv.com.
Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. The time to act is now. Everyone must do their part to stop the spread of COVID-19. Stay at home. Period. Full stop. Only go out if absolutely necessary. That means for groceries, for medications, for medical appointments, or if you provide an essential service. Protect yourself and others. Stay home. For information, visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
680 News Time 256. And now the business report. Let's head live to the business center. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Zach, we've got a mixed day with modest moves on Bay and Wall Street, but 2020 has been a winning year for markets. The Dow right now is higher by 88, so it could close at another all-time high. It did that yesterday. The S&P is higher by 11, the NASDAQ down by 9. The TSX down 29, 17,516. It's looking at a gain of about 3% this year. Carl Shimada is Chief Market Strategist at Cambridge Global Payments. Something to think about as we head into a new year.
If we don't see a correction, if we don't see interest rates rise and equity prices fall, that's actually very, very bad. That might tell us that in the long run, we're looking
again,
at
this false narrative. Oh, interest rates make things cheaper and more expensive now because the people deciding to buy or not buy stuff are not investing $100,000 in government T-bills at a time. So if you're talking nonsense.
Zero levels, and we continue to see credit-worthy companies.
They'll relate it to durable goods.
Lots of money.
What the companies call white goods.
That's what housing things like that. That is not a reflection of an economy.
They probably don't call it that in a productive sense.
Now, a few stocks of note today. Shares in Starbucks did hit an all-time high on Wall Street, 106.97.
People buying $1,000 and $5,000 fridge, they're not fucking storing the money somewhere that's directly affected by these interest
But
rates.
shares in Air Canada got at least 2 downgrades today. The airline has also been critical of the federal government's decision to require all passengers arriving in Canada by air to show proof of a negative COVID test. There are also logistical concerns. The price for gold higher by $2 today, $18.95. Oil down 21 cents, $48.19. And the Canadian dollar right now is higher by 9/100, 78.5 cents US. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
There's still time to go extra rounds at 2001 Audio Video's biggest and best Boxing Week sale. There's still inventory reduced to the absolute lowest price ever. From wireless and audio products to 4K smart TVs with 2-year warranty, many below cost. 2001 with the guaranteed lowest Boxing Week price. Shop online or phone for curbside pickup.
This is Superfan Napatia. You see me driving a lot of SUVs, but I have fallen in love with the new Genesis.
I've never seen you driving more than one SUV at one time, my friend.
My outside seat is behind the wheel of my new luxury SUV by Genesis, but there is very limited availability. Just drive the official car of the Superfan. Book your appointment at genesismississauga.ca. Don't miss the hottest SUV, the Genesis GV80.
getting you where you need to go.
Faster.
Telling you right. 680 News.
It's overcast and 2 degrees, feeling like -3 in downtown Toronto. Colin Robertson is our editor this afternoon, and Lucas Castelletto's at the digital desk. 680 News time, 3 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
It's Thursday, December 31st. Good afternoon. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Zach Bodenstein. Here's what's making news right now.
Premier Doug Ford says he has accepted the finance minister's resignation after Rod Phillips landed at Pearson this morning from a controversial vacation in St. Bart's.
Ontario is reporting 2 new record highs as the daily case count well surpasses the 3,000 mark. An update on the provincial figures just ahead.
New local and national restrictions will usher in the early days of 2021 as Toronto businesses brace for measures being announced next week, and Canada will soon mandate testing for anyone flying into the country. They were harshly criticized, but Mayor Tory and Dr. Eileen Davila defend some of the tougher decisions the city had to make this year in the pandemic.
The Raptors will close out the year against the New York Knicks, while Team Canada closes out the year against Finland, looking to remain unbeaten at the World Junior. Sports at 15.
We could see another record close on the Dow. Markets are looking at a winning year, and a Canadian casino operator gets a little closer to going private. Business at 26.
680 News time, 3:01. Traffic and weather together on the ones at the traffic center. Gary Brunskis.
This report is brought to you by